Yay.
Hooray!
Hey, we're here. Not like
Welcome. Hi, everybody. I am Gemma Revan. You can call me N. I am your very recovering from a flu game master. So we'll see how tonight goes. Blackwell had done a really good rundown of what happened in last session. So may I call upon you, good sir, to introduce yourself and the character you're playing and what happened last time for everyone involved.
Yeah, I could do that. Hey everyone, how y'all doing? My name is Blackwell, your everyman in the TTRPG D&D verse here. I'm just a regular dude. I'm married. I have a son that I call the Kaiju. That's not really his name. I'm just here to show you that, hey, you could get on to a stream, play a game with some cool people, then you wake up to your 9 to 5 in the morning, or if you're like me, you're waking up 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning because your child decided to choose violence. My character's name is Thatcher Holloway. He is a treasure hunter. Last session, if I remember correctly, we got to experience combat where me and Arya basically said, cabinet full of mysterious potions. Yeet. And also we had, I'm also trying to remember everyone's name because I'm terrible with names. We had Leslie and Andy basically perusing books, and also Andy using said books as weapons of mass destruction. Once we defeated the Furbos, who did a Voltron Megazord Transformers kind of shenanigan thing, Icky gave us basically a cell phone to keep in contact with us, because we're like, yo, dude, we're friends now. We can't just abandon you. But he has to stay and protect the core. So we're basically going to be FaceTiming our new friend, who's a cybernetic elf of some sorts. And we also got to meet our Dragon Guardian, who's basically came behind us and said, yeah, I'm going to clean this place up because y'all trashed this place. And proceeded to basically let us know that, yeah, they're here watching us. You know, they like a good story, so they're going to be watching us every now and then. I think, yeah, because we picked up the dragon sword that we got. Andy got some books. Ari, what did you pick up? I think you picked up like throwing stars.
Yes, I got little throwing stars that I can throw and be angry with. It's great.
Yeah, and Leslie found out that someone who used to shop at their store has actually been two-timing them at a whole other store that they said that they didn't go to.
Deborah.
What?
And so after sleeping inside of the...
God, Deborah.
Basically the base that Icarus lives in, we are making our way... I think we made our way to the airport, or we're making our way to the airport.
Making our way.
Making your way to the skyport.
Yeah. My fluffy dog.
Oh, and Stella, you know, slept in the room with us and was just like...
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Also, I need to make cookies for the gods.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
There is that as well. So
they like cookies. They gave me a special recipe.
You did. This is true.
Custom order.
This is true. So you are currently in a subspace, if that makes sense. Looking around, particularly for Andy, who is completely curious about this space. This subspace essentially is like a space within a space within a space. But it's so weird and so interesting that it was opened only by a key. And the person who was bequeathed the key was actually Andy.
Oh, shoot. I was not here for this.
Andy did not know this because they were looking around, but quietly and unassumingly, your new friend Icarus had turned to Andy, looked at their expression, didn't understand the expression on their face because it's also something that they're not very used to reading, but decided to hang the key from one of the femur bones, not femur bones, the pinky bone of one of Andy's hands, who is clutching a book like so. So, Andy, in your arms right now, there are a set of books. Roll your intellect, and I think it's wits, or your intelligence. Yeah, roll your intelligence.
Just the straight intelligent roll?
Yes, please.
Nothing else?
Nothing
All right.
else.
Let me just grab my dice. And should I introduce myself?
Absolutely. While you're doing this, sorry,
All right.
Oh, you're an enigma.
you are an enigma.
I am Enigma. I was not here last session. I do apologize in advance. My name is Geek Baker. I play Andy, our lovable, doggerable skeleton who likes to collect romance books. We don't know why he does or she does. They do not have a gender, but they do. For my intelligence roll, I rolled a 1. Just the 1d8, and I got a 1.
Looking around this space, you have no idea how this space was created. It's the subspace, and it was opened by the key that's hanging off your pinky. It is taking you a while to compute everything that you're seeing because you're essentially in a space. It's not on the screen because unfortunately I don't have a map yet for it, but you will get a map for it eventually. You are basically in a space where to the left-hand side, and you've already see Leslie has placed their things on the countertop, a beautiful arrayed kitchen on one side. And then on the other side of where you are standing in the middle of this glowing portal with Icarus just having secretly placed a key on your pinky finger that's left open, thinking, out of all of these people, who do I want this key? We'll give it to the skeleton because
It's just
A,
It's
all
a
the
skeleton
books
key.
it was also a skeleton key for one thing, and if that made sense. And number two,
Wow, that's
thing-
racist.
no, it wasn't. It was perfectly fine.
Would it be racist or speciesist?
Speciesist.
I am sorry. We're gonna just say Icarus didn't know better and had placed it on the open,
Just teasing.
on the open pinky because everyone else was distracted by the other things they found in the room, which we will get to specifically for Arya and for Thatcher because there was a lot of cool things in this space. You do find there is across from the kitchen area, there is this beautiful table that is made of wood, and there's two long benches on either side. So it was made for seating a lot of people. You also notice that there is behind that on the other side of the table area, there's this glimmering kind of wall of art. And when you look at it, it looks like clouds are passing through. And you see that it's almost like you're looking down from above somewhere. But whoever is over on that side, they will find some really cool things about that wall. On the other side, following straight forward, like looking straight ahead, is a wall filled with books. Lots and lots and lots of books from one end of the room to the other end of the room. And at the very center, so here's the kitchen, here's the dining, wall of cool stuff. Beyond the wall of cool stuff, another wall with just straight books. But in the center part of this room is a giant brazier, cooled off with
I'm sorry.
stone. Oh,
Was it brazier or brazier?
right.
Two different things.
I know, I was like, a bro?
One that isn't a bra.
My mental image was immediately like, wait, what? I'm so sorry.
I never remember which one is which.
Remember, this is for children, so it's the flame.
Brazier.
Yes, the
Yes.
one for the fire.
Thank you for
It's a
clarifying.
Fire. There's
Fire.
a big, huge bonfire place in the center of this place, surrounded by like a stone, and the fire pit goes deeper. So it's about a 3-foot deep kind of fire pit, so that when you place the logs in or whatever to start the fire can go all the way up, but where the smoke goes, no one knows. But obviously, if this is on, it makes the perfect spot for A, staring at the flames and wondering how to destroy the world with fire. And also, B, perfect for hot cocoa night. There's little lounge chairs, not too close to the flames, but just sat apart. That is perfect for A, reading. be lounging, see catnapping.
I was just thinking catnap.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think
Do you
Andy
think-
is like before just sees
Where-
the book,
where
just
am I?
runs to the books.
S'mores. Probably good for s'mores too.
Oh yeah, no, perfect for s'mores. You also notice that there is beyond that, there's a little set of stairs that goes up the staircase, and you see there's another doorway, and through that doorway there's a hall of rooms, like there's doors on either side. So beyond the staircase, another room. Like this thing goes on forever. And Icarus looks at Andy and says, if you wish, you can keep this key. I don't really have use for it. It was just extra storage space for the other books that I couldn't find a spot in the center room. These are actually from about 100 years or so ago. So if you wish,
Ye old smut.
he,
Andy's just gonna look straight at him and be like, "Where's the door? Where is it?"
all you have to do is go to a door to open it, and then to close it, all you have to do is, and you now see that the key is on your pinky. So it's like, here's the key, and it's dangling like so.
Okay, I think he's gonna take it off and just tie a ribbon to it and make it into a bookmark.
Just make sure it's not in the books you throw for distractions.
No, of course not. And then I think Andy's gonna look at them and be like, "I really do appreciate this. This is a lovely gift." Andy's like having a full blown like mind blown moment. It's like, I can read so many books. I'm so excited.
Now, this will, based on my tests and how this particular key works, so long as you put it into the keyhole of a door, it will turn any door into a entranceway into this space. It lasts only for 24 hours from my count. Anything you leave here will stay here, but you cannot take anything out unless it's already part of your person. So you have to bring, like, anything you bring here, you can leave here, it'll be safe. Anything you take out will go with you, but you can't take everything out.
What is the science behind this?
I believe it is a
it's called-
subspace. It is a pocket dimension using quadrants, and they go into a full scientific.
Like Andy's just sitting there, like listening to them, like, Like you like just continue talking like about science, like, so not magic, it's science. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's a form. I mean, for some people, this is a form of science, and for others, they would look at this and, with a wave of their wand, it just so happens that they are able to bend different dimensions into their very whim.
But between us, this is science.
I can neither deny or confirm, but yes, I agree with you.
This is
It is very scientific.
It is a very amazing scientific invention.
It very truly is. Now, I do not understand how the key works very well, since it is the only physical thing to attach it to this subspace. But I believe you might need some mana to continue its use for longevity. And you can get that through the mana stones that are further into the core, or away from the core under the armpit. But I do have some extras. Before you go, you can take one or two. I should have asked you.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate it. I would love to take some mana stones, just even for scientific purposes. See if
Or
I can convert it.
science.
For science, yes. For science.
I should probably tell the group.
Will they understand the importance of
Science?
this key?
No, I will not. I will have the key on my person, and it shall stay on my person. Don't you worry. I will not give it out. But I should tell them that if they put stuff here, that they don't have to worry about taking it with us. That it will stay here safe. Other than that, now I have a place to hide some stuff, which is fantastic. And we're not giving the camel too much to carry. It already looks at me angrily when I buy a new volume.
It looks very calm in the stable. the stable area that they are talking of is just there's the kitchen, and then off to the side there's this wide hallway. You go right around the corner. You actually follow Icarus, who's pacing, and to show you, Stella has found basically a whole bunch of their favorite foods in
Is it a
barrels.
stable or is it the pantry if it's right next to the kitchen?
It
Yes.
is maybe both. I do not understand how this thing operates.
That's sanitary. Seems questionable to me.
um, it may not be sanitary now.
Well, you know what? It's better this way. And my friend Leslie could use the kitchen, and hopefully that will bar them from shoving food down my non-existent throat.
Icarus looks at you and goes, If you wish, I can make a research based on the books that I have and some of the data in the databanks that are still around and operational to see if an item can be used to make certain foods disappear for you.
I would actually appreciate that a lot.
We may need to workshop. As long as you all come back within 6 months of your journey, I have already provided Mr. Thatcher a phone of which you may be able to utilize to contact me at any time.
This is why I like you.
I'm just thinking-
sure.
Bold of Andy to assume that having a kitchen means I'm not going to try and shove more food down their throat.
Bribery.
Icarus looks and goes, now that I have done my duty, should you wish to exit out, you can let the portals remain open until it poofs you out. I do not know exactly how that teleportation mechanic works, but it is worth a try or an investment if you wish to play with that. In order to just sequester yourself securely into the space, all you need to do is place the key into the portal and go right, and it should, or go left. I always get that mixed up. Which one is my right hand and which one is my left hand?
I learned this really quick from humans. So what you do is you put an L shape like this, and if it makes an L, that's your left. No, not
What
not
does
a
W mean? What does W mean?
I feel like I have done this incorrectly.
Finger
It takes some time.
Either way, to my understanding, if you turn it to the other right, it will work.
Okay, turn to the left and it'll close the portal.
Yes, and then you can remain in this space up to 24 hours. I have tested this with some furballs. There might be a couple in one of the rooms. Unfortunately, so they sometimes deactivate if they are not charged.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will leave you to your rest and feel free to explore. If you have need of me, just use the item that I have given to Mr. Thatcher.
I shall be in the library. It just goes to the bookshelf, sits down, and starts reading profusely.
We're going to zoom out. Where is everybody? Leslie's in the kitchen. We know that. And they are looking probably at Stella, who is eating a barrel of oats right now. And then we also have Arya and Thatcher. So just for approximation, where would Arya and Thatcher like to be? And then we'll introduce you guys as players and your characters.
Yeah.
I mean, we were by the wall of cool stuff, but we already kind of got our cool stuff. So maybe checking on our friends since we were viciously attacked by angry furbos.
Maybe taking a cat nap by the fire.
Okay, so kitchen's here, fireplace is here. The fireplace isn't lit, just so you know. It's just the lounge area. You actually have to put things in there to set it alight. There are some restrictions to this space, but in general, lounge, kitchen, dining table area, it's rather within the same area. Who wants to go first to introduce not only themselves and their character, but also where they are in this space and what they're doing?
I can go first.
Sure.
I am Destin Moon. I am one of the newer streamers with Logomancy. I am the newest one, at least in this party. I'm playing Leslie, a half-orc chef with big muscles and a heart of gold. Also a heart of like cookies, let's be honest. And I am in the kitchen, also taking like stock of like, what other food supplies are there in here? What can I make? We're probably hungry after fighting some furbos. Just keeping track of what Stella's getting into so that I know what's sanitary, what's not. What can I probably just 5-second rule? It's fine. You know, little fiber never hurt anybody.
Fiber's good for the gut.
Exactly.
You're muted.
You know what? This happens.
No.
Flippity gibbet.
There it is.
Moon, you find yourself taking stock of everything. Now, do you have a skill or an ability based on Ryuutama that you can use for this particular location and area?
Let me see.
And I did my very best to put everybody's character. So if you ever need your character sheet as well, it's on Roll20.
Oh, thank you.
That's currently where I'm looking.
There I am.
Yes. And everybody has access to it just in case something happens and somebody needs to lock in to something. You can just look. So
Because I
you
have
crafting, trapping, and repair.
yes.
Hmm.
I feel like job knowledge would also probably be a thing because if my job is a cook,
Yeah. There you go.
That would be-
Yeah. Roll double into intelligence. Yes. That's the word I want.
that looks
Like a success.
yes.
Perfect.
It's just confusing. I was just looking at because the Roll20 gave me like 3 numbers on there. It's like 4 plus 2 plus 4.
So
Oh, because I have a
so-
bonus to it.
you have a
maybe.
bonus of 4. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be 10 total.
You kind of take a moment to stop and look at Stella, who is munching on the oats. And you kind of look and see what they've gotten into, and you look up and you're like, oh, thank goodness, there's an extra barrel. Because the barrel was wide open down at the bottom, and the way the shelving works, if you've ever been into an industrial area where there's all the big shelves that are like green and like they're big and bulky looking and they look like they can hold a lot, there's barrels on either side on the bottom and on the top. And they got to the bottom one. Thankfully, everything else was packaged. It was just this one shelf with some stuff, and everything else is pretty much empty.
Okay, so is it like anything else that was packaged? Is it all just oats or what else is there?
You find that there's some grains of barley, there's some flour that's been kind of packaged away, there's a couple of bundles of, not even bundles, like a crate of sugar that is still fresh and still useful. You also find, to your both delight and horror, because Stella smells it the moment you open it, a big, huge pot of honey.
I quickly close it and put it out of her reach.
Oh, pouty.
For later. For later.
Mm.
For later. Eat your oats. They just regurgitate all of their oats.
Yep.
Of course they did.
Do I, ignoring Stella, do I have the ingredients I need to make the cookie recipe that the god left me?
You have half of them. You have half of the enough you need. You haven't taken a look at the liquids yet. You haven't seen where, if there's a chiller or a chill room here. You haven't seen that yet.
Can I look for it?
Oh yeah. Quickly looking around, you find where the burner is, you find where the cook stove is, you keep going around the corner, and then you find a set of stairs that go down.
It's like a cellar.
Yeah.
Cool. I believe. Let me double check my inventory. I think I actually do have a lantern.
You hear a.
It's Stella, isn't it? She trying to get into the honey?
No, she's following you now.
Okay, seeing what else I'm finding.
Because you smell like honey.
Run.
You
Run.
also,
No.
and you also smell like apples still.
I feel like Thatcher has mentioned at some point in
I
time
didn't have
or
the
another,
apples.
just like, hey, don't smell like food, because I am not responsible for how she responds to you.
The Thatcher had the syrup covered apples.
But you still smell like cooking.
I always smell like cooking.
Which is why Thatcher had forewarned you a long time ago.
Apparently,
Stella's
don't have a lantern.
proclivities. You look around for a lantern. Actually, you know what's really cool about this space is how clumsy would you say is Leslie?
Oh no.
Well, depends on how closely Stella is following him. Like right breathing down my neck.
Their muzzle is right here.
Cool. I almost sound like a Wookiee.
I have a cold. Okay.
It's okay. I've had a cold for the last while too.
No,
It's funny.
cyborg camels sound like Wookiees now. It's canon.
Yep.
Good.
She's a cyborg. She's a cyborg camel. It's fine. And I guess when it comes to food, not clumsy at all. Maybe a little bit if he's not paying attention or he's busy like daydreaming about cooking as he's walking on an uneven terrain. But I like to think he's pretty coordinated on the whole, because like when you're in a kitchen, you got a lot of sharp objects, you got a lot of hot objects. You learn pretty quick to be very aware of your body. I'm pretty sure Geek Baker could be aware.
No.
No? You just a
Yes
problem
and
child?
no. I have a lot of burns. That is not factual. You forget.
What you can do in this
Yeah,
situation.
but not everyone is like you, Geek Baker.
What you can do in this situation.
I love you.
Because they are right here. Their muzzle is right here, connected to you on some form of level. Do a dodge for me.
Oh no. Okay, dodge. There it is. Whip.
Oof. Okay. So you're at the top of these stairs, right?
Yeah.
Stella's right there. It's a little bit of a narrow squeeze for poor Stella, who gives up after a moment, and they go back to where they came, like they back off. But as they're backing away, they kind of do a nudge thing, and as they do a nudge thing, you kind of like try to push them away for a moment, and then they nudge your hand back. And tell me how you want to fall backwards.
Before I do, we have a hydrate.
I have a croissant. That is my hydrate.
Well, you can thank. So you can thank Vixie for it. Everyone always blames me, but it's not always me. So if he's gonna fall backwards down these stairs, it's gonna be super extra. Like he's like head over feet, trying to grab at the walls. Like he's used to being on the ground. He's not used to being off the ground.
Which is
Maybe with a shout of Stella as he's falling down the stairs.
Your hand reaches out. Stella just grunts, goes back to where they have dropped their oats, and you actually see them turn their big, huge butt towards you as they stumble off.
I was going to say, are they about to re-eat their regurgitated oats?
They're camel. They chew cud. How else can I explain camel behavior? They're like cows in some way.
They're desert cows.
They're desert cows. Your hand falls backwards, and as you're like trying to stop yourself from falling backwards, your hand hits a switch, and suddenly it's like an RGB light. Lights
Is
up
it a
all
disco
over.
stairs?
Yeah.
Panic at the disco stairs.
Yes.
And as you go, the rest of you can hear this coming from where Leslie is. The rest of you can hear this, unfortunately.
I mean, I did shout Stella as I fell.
Hey, I think Andy just head in the book and just hears that and just goes, like, looks up and goes, eh. Goes back
Not my
to her.
circus, not my monkeys. Not my circus, not my monkeys.
If they're really hurt, they'll call me.
They'll just call me. You have a pager on you somehow.
Little beeper.
I
Yeah.
feel like Thatcher is like off somewhere exploring like more of the base as he hears that, and he's just like, I'll get to that in about 10 minutes.
I see how it is. Everyone else is in trouble. They call out for Leslie, but Leslie's having an issue, and they're like,
They're
it's
so,
fine.
they're so used to Stella doing this that it's just like, they'll sort themselves out.
There's one person left that hasn't reacted actually. Because Arya I think she would have sat on the table like after she'd gotten like this loot with Thatcher and done something about it, and has been like just kind of strumming her lute, kind of quiet, like waiting for someone to light the brazier because she's not gonna do it. But someone else can do it. And she's just sitting, and then she hears all this cacophony happening, and she was like, "Ooh, I wonder what happened," and then immediately goes to see what happened.
Absolutely. Do you leave your loot behind?
No, she brings it all with her. She's not that much of a cat. She's like, I don't want to leave it and then have it not be there when I come back.
Absolutely. You see Stella walking to regurgitated oats. That's one thing. And then you see a disco set of lights behind them. And you just hear a final thunk.
Oh yes, and hi everyone. My name is Dixie Bell. I am your friendly neighborhood player here at the Logomancy table tonight. And I am playing Arya Legato, a cat bard for all intents and purposes, who is a cat first and foremost.
Everybody wants to be a cat.
Yes. Anyway, so she sees Stella and she's like, "Whoa, all right." And then she looks around and she's like, she kind of goes through her head. It wouldn't be Thatcher because Thatcher knows better, because Thatcher hates Stella making messes to begin with. It doesn't seem like Andy would be in a place with food for any reason, unless like he was chained
burning it
to it by Leslie. So like in her mind, she's like, so after like kind of putting the facts together, she goes, "Hey Leslie, are you okay?
Dang, Gamma pushed me down the stairs.
Is anything broken?"
Is anything broken?
Probably a carrot.
Just a carrot.
You feel on your left-hand side, you look up a whole entire wall of vegetables, and then you hear it also, Arya, as you hear thunk, 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 thunk,
Oh.
thunk.
Oh.
And then and the loud sloshing and falling of various root vegetables
Oh my.
and a bucket of water somewhere in the middle.
The stairs have told us to hydrate.
You know what, Mr. Diggenhawk or Miss
Yeah.
Diggenhawk or
It's my husband.
or Diggenhawk of amazingness. I'm just gonna chew my cut
Awesome.
here.
Of course, you're gonna channel your inner Stella. Got it.
Mhm.
Like Arya, like study Stella, make sure that like kind of just gives a cursory, like, is this camel okay, or is this okay? They're chewing. Okay, this is what they do. Great, amazing. We're gonna let them eat their own regurgitated food. I'm not gonna look at it for that long. She's gonna go and try to find poor Leslie, who's probably at the bottom of the stairs, and see. And does that bring her closer to all the the vegetables and the noise, the water splashing noise that she heard?
Oh yeah, you go down the stairs and it's beautiful. It's really pretty. The lights have lit up into this nice soft rainbow color. Like, it's hard to explain what a rainbow color light display looks like, but it's like this very mellow
cool rainbow color of light that goes up and down the hallway and the stairs. And then towards the bottom, you see Leslie, who is bathed in this soft amber light as the main basement area is just lit up properly, but in a very cool yellow light. And you see Leslie beside you. Your hand has reached a carrot that had broken in half at your fall. You see a portion of what looked to be a wooden shelf that's kind of rickety had fallen over, and whatever was on that shelf had basically dumped everything off. The shelf remains, but the stuff that was in it, not so much. Along with the carrots, a whole bunch of potatoes. You see turnips. You see that one squash had basically rolled over and knocked over a bucket of water into what looks like a well in the center of this place for water.
Well.
Oh, Leslie, I don't think that's how you make soup. But maybe next time you want to use a pot.
Leslie just gives her this super just blank stare of just, really?
I mean,
I chuck broken carrot at her.
she like tries to dodge the carrot.
You certainly can. And you can do me a throw. There is an unarmored Leslie can do a throw, actually.
Okay.
And you can do a dodge.
We're throwing carrots here on Legends of Logomancy.
Yep.
Let's go. Right.
Yeah.
What should I roll for that?
Let's see what the modifiers are. Hold on. Let's go to your stats. You know what? For something unarmed like this, I would just roll your strength.
Cool. Just a single strength?
Yeah. And then Arya can do a single dodge.
6 + 4 + 0.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a 3.
So sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead. You tell me what happens.
She does the cat thing when you throw things at the cat. The cat looks spooked, but like somehow manages to like apparate out of the way, so it still misses. Like, cool. Huh. I don't need vitamin A that badly.
You want dinner tonight?
Yes.
Help me up.
Okay. She comes over and she like extends her hand to like help you up.
Takes like less than a couple of minutes for you
Yep.
guys to kind of look
Really
around.
quick, before
Yeah.
she actually helps me, am I in a puddle currently?
No.
Okay.
This is the shelf. This is you.
And then
Shelf is there.
Got it. I wasn't sure if any of
And-
like the vegetables were like canned vegetables that were in like jars and stuff.
Next shelf over.
Because if I was in a puddle, I was actually going to pull her into the puddle and then get up. But then there's no puddle, therefore.
Yeah.
No, the puddle's in the center of this room where the squash has lain innocently beside this bucket that had tipped
Squash
over.
is just minding its business, living its
Mm.
life.
Mm-hmm. That is where the water is, in the center of the room.
I guess I'll make a stew for dinner to try and salvage some of these vegetables that have fallen.
Absolutely. It's not a whole bunch, but it's enough, like a bag of potatoes worth of vegetables have basically fallen over. So it's easy enough to collect and pick up and put to rights and bring with you if you need to. But looking around this space for both of you, you can kind of see that the layout of this is really nicely done, because in the center there is a well. The well is open. So someone previous to you had been using it, but they left in a hurry for whatever rhyme or reason. They had to leave in a hurry because there was a bucket of water filled up to the brim to some degree, and that had just been tipped over. But looking around, there's a door that actually says ice, and then the other one that says chilled. So there are 2 rooms with doors like that, and then you see on the step just around the corner a wooden sign that says swimming pool, spa, and then another one underneath that, change rooms, gym.
Dude, it's like a whole like apartment complex in here.
They have a spa. I'm so excited.
I just picture Arya just like throwing any vegetables she'd helped carry just to run over to the spa and check it out.
Like literally, like I think she did one of those things where she like reads the word spa and like they have a spa that yeets the vegetables all over again, like upward and everywhere.
You get
I just
pelted
picture
by
them
a
landing
turnip.
all over Leslie's face.
Yeah, you feel a turnip hit you square in the noggin, Leslie.
Get some spinach caught in my eye patch.
It's a good time. We're gonna zoom out again, and we're gonna go zoom in towards Thatcher. Now, you did describe your character, and you also introduced yourself, and everything else went at the beginning. So thank you. What is Thatcher doing?
I think he's exploring around more on the ship, and also, you know, keeping an ear out for his party, seeing what they're doing. I wonder if he would like meander around until he bumped into Andy again, like trying to see like where did they go.
Sure.
Andy has like just a pile of books, like a fort in the middle of it.
In your exploration, let's take a look at your skill because you are a treasure hunter. Let's see what your stats be at. So you've got animal tracking, you've got hunting, you've got trapping. You know what? And you've got you also have job knowledge. But you don't have any bonuses yet for that for some odd reason, which you should. Let's go with job knowledge. Let's give you a proficiency on that. So roll for job knowledge, because this is something you do. You explore ruins. That is something you've done for the greater part of the year.
Let's see, where's my job knowledge? Where
2 intelligence. It does say 0, but we can add an extra d6 to that if we need to.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me grab my d6s. There we go. What is that? That is a 5 and a 2, so 7.
Okay. You are lost a little bit because this is a weird subspace. You've just been presented essentially as a safe haven from whatever rhyme or reason, probably from a previous explorer who probably had taken the time to get this commissioned for them. And now you've inherited it. Because as you go beyond the library areas, because you went up the stairs, you went down the hallway to look at these extra rooms, you find a couple of really interesting things. There is a hallway of about 8 doors, 4 on one side, 4 on the other. So whoever was here, there was at least 8 of them. However, the one door to your right, you see armory. Door to your left, you see weapons. Keep going down. Now there's names on the doors. There's 3 doors on the right that says Jack, Emily, Roscoe. The left-hand side, it just says Bob, Bill, and Sam.
I think he'll go into the doors that have like people's names on it, starting with I think you said Jack first.
Yeah, Jack, Emily, Roscoe, Bob, Bill, Sam. So you go through Jack's door, and it is crazy in here. There is nothing but plants everywhere, and it feels like a small little haven, a little nook of overgrown forest or jungle. And all along like this wooden shelf, there are plants from every known place in Pharrell.
I think he'll be a little like he'll step in and start taking samples of the various plants, because number one, some of these plants are probably good for cooking.
Mm-hmm.
But also number two, some of these plants probably have a high value in certain markets, because medicinal effects, healing effects, used for various potions that are very hard to make without these various plants. But because they're so far away, he's like, this is a This opportunity just looked in his face and he said, "Gimme."
Okay. While this is not search for food, which includes strength and intelligence, this is a search for goods. And you are a treasure hunter who is really good with hunting and trapping. So roll your strength and your intelligence, which would be your D4 and your intelligence. And then we'll just say, because you have, this is part of your job knowledge, we'll give you a +2 to that.
My intelligence is a 8.
Also, Vixie just redeemed a boost treasure.
What does that mean? Wait, what does that mean? Hold
I
on.
don't know what that button does, but I wanted to push it.
Okay, hold on. Let me see what that means.
What
does it
mean?
What does it mean? It just said,
13.
it doesn't give me anything.
Boost treasure is one of our channel's normal rewards on Twitch.
Oh.
It generally means that if they're going to find treasure, they find more treasure or better treasure.
Ooh, oh, sweet.
Ooh.
Okay.
And the
let's do
audience heard me say that.
it.
Yay! Not the
Yay!
number voice.
Say
Oh
hello
my
to our
God.
voice in the void.
The
Yes.
voice in the void. Okay, cool. We are gonna roll a D100 because I think depending on what your rolls were, you do get quite a bit. Okay, tell me what you got.
I got a 13, so 7 plus 4 plus 2.
Yeah, you're good. You're rolling for days. Roll me.
I do got my metal D100.
Yep, I was about to say, roll me that. Let me see how much you find though. Okay, so you find 6 things.
We're about to hear the classic ka-thunk of the metal D100.
Oh, I turned my mic off to roll it.
Oh,
Poor
we like the
thing.
Kathunk. We like the Kathunk though.
I
Okay, go
mean,
It's iconic.
Yeah.
Right.
I could roll it again just for effect, but also give you the number I got.
Yes.
Also, everyone needs to hydrate.
Oh.
But it was an 85.
85. I will hydrate in a moment. Also, we will go on a break in about 10 minutes if you guys are okay with that.
Sure.
You find an extremely poisonous mushroom that in some states of Pharrell would be very much wanted by the Poisoners Guild. This is one of the things you find. It's in the Roll20 chat. So you can easily copy and paste that if you need to.
Yep.
I was going to ask if it was a badger mushroom.
Ooh.
Badger, mushroom. Sorry. Continue.
There's going to be a generation that doesn't know about that.
Yeah, no, there isn't. But you know what? We know. And that's all that matters. D100, please.
Never D100?
Yeah, you get to roll it 6 times, good sir.
Oh,
Sounds like
is
a
a
bowling
ka-thunk.
ball. It's great.
Or like a roll of thunder.
Yeah.
oh, absolutely. Like I recommend everyone get like a full like metal D100. It's a 54.
54. Okay, I'll give you that as well.
It's fun trying to read them too, because it's like, which one's the one that's this one.
I almost made a massive D12 or D20 because my husband bought like a massive D20 and a massive D12. They're like this big for like a silicone mold to make them, but I didn't get
What is
around to
this?
making it.
No.
Ooh, yes. Okay. Roll me another one, please.
Dun dun.
Mhm. Okay, so this is what else you find, which is you were looking for food, you found something. You found a vegetable. It's called an ancestral gourd. It is a vegetable that grows in freezing temperatures. It is a gnarled vegetable that grows sticking out of the ground. It is usually found in Arctic areas, which with where Pharrell is, you are kind of like in a southern continent. The northern continent is further above, and that's where you would probably find something like this. And when harvested and eaten directly, the ancestral gourd will cause the user to hallucinate visions of their Anyway, that one is usually used again by the Assassin's Guild. So whoever was here, they were into poisons of some sort.
I think he'll see that one and just be like, yeah, this one we're gonna keep for ourselves. Just nope, can't give that to anyone in particular. Just
Save
not a
this
good
for when
time.
someone takes me off a little too much.
I don't hate the idea of a hallucinogenic squash soup. I'm just saying.
It makes you hallucinate
Andy's
something
gonna
not
be
so
just
pleasant.
like walking in, everybody's tripping, and Andy's gonna be like, "What happened?"
But
Well, it's not going to be a happy trip.
But what
No.
the ayahuasca nonsense is happening in this house? Like,
Oh yeah, for a different game, for a different stream. Oh, absolutely. But for this one,
no,
nah, I'm just gonna
no.
gonna put that away.
This
Two
is a
more
Wednesday.
things.
That's a Wednesday night stream. Like,
The
gourd.
next roll I got was a 1 on a
Oh,
D100.
no.
This one is kind of strange because it is a plant. It is a plant, but it's also kind of weird. It's like looking at a seaweed almost. It is called slither sloop or slither soup. It's more of like a liquid than a plant. Don't know why it's here, but it is here. And last
the
one.
snake to go with the badger mushrooms.
I think with that one as well, he's just like, this person had some interesting plans. Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, going into the bag with the
Unusual
gourd, where it's just
taste.
like, nope, gonna keep that there. And last one, let's see, what are you? 24.
24. Okay. Let me see what else is in here.
I think he's also amazed by just how he made biodomes for each plant species, like their own little mini biodome to exist in. Like,
The cloches.
I think he would at some point would be like, Andy would find this interesting. Like,
But do
the
you trust
various-
Andy with the poisons?
I think he's more so thinking just how is this possible?
Andy's a
He's talked
doctor.
about magic and he's talked about science, and he's just like, how would this work?
Andy's a doctor with a grudge.
The
Right,
la-
Andy hasn't done anything wrong.
The last thing you notice and find is a massive 5-foot tall piece of an ancient tree bark inscribed with druidic runes that seem to predict several events that have already happened, and one of 2 that have not. Upon closer inspection, a part of the bark looks like it was recently and deliberately broken off. You had heard parts of Icarus's speech of where, like, well, I don't know, I just have this key, you can have it. So whoever resided here, they had to leave this piece of tree, and who knows what happened to Jack. You don't see anything else in this space other than lots of
beanstalk.
plants. Lots and lots of plants. And a nice herb garden of just basic basil. You see peppermint, and you see and it's just, you see a shelf that says regular herbs for cooking. Second shelf that says highly interesting herbs,
For
also
cooking.
for cooking, but do not recommend.
For a different kind of cooking.
I think he'll take a set from each shelf, like, and just, one in one pocket, regular herbs, in another pocket, this is for Leslie's experiments back at home.
Yes, exactly.
And probably in another pocket, this is specifically for Andy to figure out, like, hey, what can we do with this?
I
'Cause
am
in
now
his brain, science is cooking.
I'm now picturing Thatcher wearing like a fly fishing vest with all the little pockets.
Yeah,
That's a good question. Does he? No, actually, I think I have bags. I think I got bags at some point. Ooh,
You
excuse
got a
me.
bat. You got like a little bat belt, utility belt.
No, Stella's my pack animal. That's why. That's who carries all my
Stella's your
stuff.
bat utility belt.
Yes. I remember now. It's like, I don't have a backpack. I have Stella. So it's like,
Yeah.
he just kind of stuff in his pockets. Like, this is what he does too as an adventurer, like as a treasure hunter. Some stuff he knows he can't grab, so he has Stella take it. But things that he knows he can put in his pocket, just because, sometimes the bigger stuff is easy to get, but the more valuable things are the smaller objects. I think he'll exit out the room and then start adventuring into like the other rooms.
Sure.
I think it was Emily that was next.
Yeah. You go into Emily's room and you look, and this is a whole different world altogether. The next room is basically there's a beautiful bed, all pink with frills. There's a canopy on either side. You see that there's this beautiful looking pillow at the center of it with the letter E. You see a very well appointed wardrobe chest on the left hand side. And then further in, as you look in, there's a dressing table with different items as well. And then on the right hand side of the wall, as you look in, that's when you see it. Whoever Emily was, they had very interesting hobby. It is basically a wall filled with wine bottles, fully intact and still good.
I think Arya wants this room.
And with that, is it all right if we go on a quick break? I really need to utilize the facilities
And grab a
More
drink.
water.
and
Yes.
maybe grab water for situations at hand. So, dear voice of the heavenly above, the voice of the gods, the one and only Logomancy, the producer of chiefness, could I please get the break screen? Please.
James.
I heard
He's
a
muted.
I had a cow noise in my
5,
ear just going.
4, 3, 2,
See y'all later.
1.
Sweet boops. We got booped. We got loved. We had some good times with an amazing. Oh, we got a heart. We got a heart. We got to do the heart thing.
Except the audience can't. The audience can't see.
The kids do. The new
They
kids do
can't
like
see it.
this.
I thought it was this.
It's
that
like
they
this.
They do
do.
this, and like they do it like a weird one with their like this. It's just weird.
This is a K-pop thing, which I think is funny. That the
Yeah.
Oh
everyone's
yeah,
doing that.
it's this. They do this now, which is
Oh yeah, which is
It looks like
my
a diamond
brain is
when I
like
do it.
tripping trying to figure out how you're doing that. Like,
You know
is
what?
it?
You know
Nope,
what?
nope.
Live long and
Which
prosper.
yeah,
I'm
no,
going.
this is the finger, but that
And
just creates
classic.
weird
Yeah.
curves
Take a
here. This
spot.
finger doesn't.
How, are we good?
Sorry,
Sorry.
Yeah.
And we're
Um,
back.
And we're back.
and we're
So-
actually back.
You find in Emily's room bottles, rows of wine. Roll me a d4.
Oop, roll a
Cooking
d4.
wine, cooking wine, cooking wine.
That is a 3.
You get to roll 3 times if you want on your d100, and while you're doing that, we will go into the other rooms as you're basically looking around everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, if we could do that, I could roll really quickly and see what I get.
Yes, please, and then just put it into the roll 20 chat too. For numbers, I'll be looking at those. Whew, love the thud. 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 Thud.
Dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
There we go.
Okay, beauty. Thank you.
Anyway.
So you find the following names of different wines, and you know they're all good wines. Like these are the things that if you sell them, you're gonna make a lot of gold.
Good vintage.
Very good vintage. One of them is Glowfire Dry from about 75 years ago. So that's going to be really brisk to the taste. You find one that's about 50 years old, and then an Amenthus Red. I'll write this down and then send them to you as well.
Yeah.
And then you also find, in terms of the vintages, like they're within the past 40 years is the youngest that you've seen. So whoever was here was probably around 40 years ago. So not too old, but also not too young either.
We
Yeah.
having everyone hydrate.
Is there anything in the room that would tell me, like, he's now seen 2 rooms where extremely
Oh.
decorated, extremely decked out, but no one's here.
No one's here. Whoever was here, it was like they disappeared.
I think he'll step out and try to call out to Icarus.
Depending on whether or not Andy closed the portal after Icarus left, it'll be hard. Unless you call him in the special manner that they gave you.
Yeah. Like if he doesn't respond, he'll just pull out like the phone and basically ping him.
You get a beep 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 beep, and on this strange device that you received, it's black, and then it just says IC 01 main foam. And then there's a choice of like a weird block symbol that looks like a camera symbol, and then this weird triangle symbol with multiple lines afterward.
I think he'll hit the first one that looks like a camera.
Okay. You hit it, and the moment you do so, Icarus is like full eye in the face, like holding it like this. Oh, I'm a little bit too close.
Ah, yes.
Classic
Hello,
grandma style.
hello, friend. I've come across a couple of rooms here
Oh.
with various names: Jack, Emily, Bob, Bill, and 2 others.
Hmm.
The rooms are fairly decked out, like people were living here,
Hmm.
but no one's in them. What happened to these people?
It is very possible that they accidentally dropped it along with some other things when visiting last. And because they dropped it, they were unable to retrieve it for whatever rhyme or reason. And this is what they have left behind.
I think he'll show the room to Icarus, and it's like, but this is a lot of things to just drop, as he says it, like in quotation marks. It's like they lived here. Do you know these people?
I do not know any. You are among the first few adventurers that in a while have not tried to attack me or the core or the mana stones. So for me, at least in my case and understanding of the situation, this is yours now. You could try to find any journals they may have left behind and see if they left a record of where they last were before coming to here.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. Because he kind of looks around the room. There's a sense of like forebodingness to him. Like all this stuff here, and knowing that the oldest bottle here is about 40 years old. 40 years may seem like a long time, but 40 years is also a very short time. Versus like, say this stuff was sitting around for like 500, 1,000 years. Okay, yeah, like ancient history. But this is well within his timeline of living, like almost.
Looking around, particularly Emily's room, you find old dresses from about 40 years ago that were in style. You find, kind of tucked away in a weird corner, a small pink leather-bound book with the letter E on it that's kind of roughed up on the edges.
I think he'll take out that book. And is there like a table anywhere, like a chair?
There's the vanity where you can see an accoutrement of potions and lotions and most likely their makeup table.
I think he'll sit there and open up the book like to the earliest entry and start going like skimming and scanning through it, trying to see like what happened between then to present day.
Sure. So you open this person's, essentially their diary, because they wrote down, "Dear Diary, today Jack," and you see a lot of things that Emily says about Jack. And then onto one page, there's a beautiful image of this man with curling blonde hair that's circling around. He looks essentially like the Beauty and the Beast prince.
I think you may need to
when he
pass this book
transformed.
on to Andy.
Another one for my collection. Ooh.
This one's real.
Fan fiction, right?
And it's like, oh, I ship them. I mean,
This one's illustrated.
You see the image of this man that is there, and on the one section is, "I really love him, but I don't think he's smart enough to catch on." You flip through a couple more pages. You find names of different locations within Farrell. This group had traveled to Carvalho at some point to pay their respects at the World Travelers Festival back in those days to the Great Tree. You also find information about Nepenthe, which to your understanding was a ruin. Around 40 years ago, it was a ruin, but there was still at least one hamlet that still existed there that still received adventurers. And that was the last place they were at before the next page was, "We are on our way to the Sky Islands of Ilmarinen. Roscoe believes he can find parts there to essentially build whatever flying item he wishes." Even getting up to Nepenthe was very difficult. We had to use different magical scrolls to teleport us to the central base of the ruin. And Jack is still oblivious. Maybe I should get over him. This is just a little crush.
I think he's low key like commenting like as he's going through the pages, like he sees the names of these various places and he's trying to figure out like, has he been there? are these places that he's been? But also then seeing the entries of Jack and just being like, girl, move on. Like, the lights are on, but no one's home. Like, do better.
He didn't get it after you did that,
Yeah.
girl.
Like, you showed up to his door late at night. Come
In
on.
your nicest nightgown.
Yep. And I mean, no, brain dead. Give up.
He said, hey, yo, you just like, oh, you just want to like, you want to play some card games? Girl,
No.
just move on. There's nothing.
And
You
then
can't
he
save them.
proceeded. That one entry where the card games is while you're responding, there's a space and then a paragraph down, and you can see. And he then proceeded to beat me at blackjack 15 times. Why do I even bother?
Why is she playing blackjack with this man 15 times in the middle of the night?
I think he's like just silently saying to himself, like, this is why we actively just say, hey, I like you instead of playing games. But you know, that's none of my business as he flips the page.
You do get a lot of information about the other members of this party. Roscoe that you found out, he was an inventor. So if you go into his room, you would probably be able to find it. Per Emily's notes, Roscoe's in his room again, tinkering about different mechanical pieces. He's really interested in this weird blueprint that he showed me. He said that if he could build it, he could fly it anywhere, at any time, even to the time when the dragons walked the earth.
A time
Well,
machine.
legends.
I think after reading that, that's when he'll kind of stand up and be like, let's go check out Roscoe's room as he's flipping the page, you know,
Yeah.
like kind of walking and reading as he
Mhm.
enters into Roscoe's room.
You look up and you are paused right away because you see furbos. You see two furbos. Like there's no light in them, meaning they're shut down from what you've seen, like you've seen them shut off. In the middle of the room, but you can see that one of their wings is kind of off. So it looks like whoever was in here was operating on them at some point. But the other one has just remained still. You also notice that this entire area has been filled with different artifacts. One of them is this gigantic flying whale piece in the middle, like just hanging from strings, almost lovingly made from scrap metal. And you haven't ever seen a flying whale in a long time. These things were extinct.
I think he's gonna like examine more in the room, but it's specifically towards the whale. And like try to gauge, see like how long has this been up here? Like it may be a little hard to ascertain because while he's a treasure hunter, if there's nothing marking like age or if there's no material saying like, hey, this came from this age or this age, it's kind of a moot point.
You don't have an ability to carbon date things? What kind of treasure hunter are you?
He's still fresh and new. He doesn't have that. He has animal tracking, trapping, and hunting.
Yeah.
He's used to fun. He's used to hunting monsters and finding treasure, but this is a different field.
You notice old blueprints dated about 40 years ago on the table, and then a couple that were about 50 years ago, and then a couple more about 100 years back. So whoever was here, he was old, like old. And then you see the image of when you first initially came to this area and met Icarus for the first time, and you had seen that holograph of the strange automaton figure, the big, huge Titanic robot. You see that image, and you see information regarding the core written in very tiny postscript, almost like they were squeezing as much information about it as possible on the edges. And then you see just kind of encircled, like very quickly, 1, ick 2. Ick 2 dash question mark scratches, and then you see the name Nepenthe exclamation point underscore.
Can I just remind that when you went to call Icky, it said you were calling Ick 1.
Mhm.
Just wanted to, just in case anyone missed that.
Yeah, I got it
If
on my
that's important.
notes.
Yes. Now we know there's a 2.
That was just like a moment that I'm like, it's connected.
All of us
More
at the table were
friends.
like freaking out inwardly. It's fine. It's fine.
Man, I'm not there. I can't deal with it.
I think you'll see the name Nepenthe and just try to see if there's any other references to Ick 1, Ick 2, but also Nepenthe around in the room.
So you've heard of Nepenthe. It's one of the treasure hunters' most, like, out of all the places you could go to, it's one of those places that you would want to see the most. So I've transferred it over on Roll20 here. A map of Pharrell. I have updated it so it actually has the names again. So it's nice and clear and able to see. You guys are here at the Sky Islands of Ilmarinen. The port
Yeah.
city is fairly close by to where you are right now. It's just another day's journey. And then Nepenthe is basically another sky island that's just all the way across the continent. Like, it'll take some time to get there with Carvalho at the center. Now, Carvalho at the center is always going to be at the center of everything. Not only is it also a flying island, but it is also the great island with a tree in the middle.
Is there like a journal or a notebook in here of Jesus, what is the guy's name? I'm losing.
Roscoe.
Yeah, Roscoe. Is there a journal or notebook of anything of the sort in here?
You know what? You're a treasure hunter. Go seek for it if you'd like, before I
Yeah.
say no. Let's see what you get.
What would I roll? Intelligence or
Yeah, just your double intelligence. We'll go for hunting.
double intelligence? Here's 1d8. I need another d8. All right. Okay, that's pretty good. That's a 7 plus 3, so 10.
10. Just the blueprints, and then you see it. What languages do you think, if you could read languages, what languages would you read? So let's say there's Draconic because of the dragons.
Mhm.
There's Primordial, some sort of primordial ancient language. So an archaic form of language. Let's say there's also elemental language as well.
I think he would go more like primordial, and then he picks up bits of Orcish, bits of what language would Arya speak? Like, because I imagine cats have their own language.
Yeah. Cat language.
Meownese? I don't know.
Um,
Meow, meow, meow.
Yeah, meow,
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 meow, meow, meow, meow.
Stop cursing me out. Why did you learn all the curse
Meow.
words first? God.
You kiss your gram with that mouth?
Yeah.
They're probably like a mixture of like Miatis, like just cat language mixed with
Yeah.
like a little bit of Orcish, but mainly he knows a lot of primordial because a lot of the things he ends up coming across are from those ancient ages.
Yeah. So the language on this one, however, is really strange. It's a mix of primordial, and you can tell there's some draconic in it. And draconic, as you know, because you are invested in the gods of the dragons that are around you. You know about the different seasonal dragons, and you know the lore of the dragons. You see that interspersed with what you read, and you find that Roscoe was trying to essentially make a flying whale come back to life, but using metal to create it. And they were looking for information about cores, because back in the long time ago, back before everything now, like at least centuries ago, there used to be titans that had strange magic upon them where they could walk and talk and move around. And you're not sure if that's related to Icarus. You're uncertain at this point if that is something that's worth exploring. But based on Emily's musings in between, she was very observant, but also very ditzy from what you understand of her notes, was that they were trying to find a core, a working core. And they were going to go to this place where Icarus was because they had heard there might be a working core here.
I think he's going to keep reading through the journal, seeing if there's any more entries about this whale, about what about what not
Roscoe.
Roscoe. I'm about to call him Ruckus. Roscoe. There we go.
Ruckus Roscoe.
Every time you say Roscoe, all I can think of is like in theater, that's a brand of like lighting gels
Oh.
that you can use to like change like the colors of like
Yes.
old light fixtures. So that's just
Oh,
what goes through
yeah,
my
there
brain.
we go. That's how I remember that. Now it's
I'm
coming
not-
back to me.
Funny that's also named Roscoe.
I'm also, if you've ever watched Miyazaki's film with Porco Rosso,
Yes.
The Porco Rosso.
Oh, love
Porco
it.
Rosso, except I call him Roscoe.
Love it.
So
That's one of my
Ooh.
husband's favorites.
I think
That's
I think Thatcher will also like try to call out to Andy, realizing that he has nowhere idea what he is.
Too much
But he'll-
science. Not enough treasure.
Because he's like, in his mind, he needs like someone who's more proficient in this. While he knows things, maybe our local scientists might know more.
Andy!
Andy!
Where are you?
Would Andy hear this? Like, how far are they from?
There's multiple cacophonies that you heard. Multiple cacophonies. One behind you near the kitchen, just around the corner. And then you heard something about a spa, because that was a very loud spa
Yes.
from somewhere down below your feet. And then there was an Andy way above your head down the hallway. So there's too much noise. And you're reading a book that you have pilfered
Reading a
from
book. Reading a book.
Icarus's collection. And you know that the collection that you found is one of those 6 series books that you've always wanted to read that was from a decade ago, and you found it amongst here that would, if you were to look for it anywhere else in Pharrell, it would have been like over 100 gold pieces just to obtain.
So, and now, like, they're making a lot of noise. I can't focus on the book. I could just see Andy's just, like, having, like, the anime, like, little angry mark on the side of their cell. Just slams the book closed, get up, and goes to where their name was called first. Like, goes there first, just opens door. What? What do you want?
Me when my child wakes up for like the 10th time in the span of an hour.
The person who called you the most would have been Thatcher, and Thatcher is like halfway at this one door, and you're opening. Which room do you want to open? Because as far as you know, it's in one of these rooms that they're in, and you don't see Thatcher right away.
Maybe I just scream down the hall then instead of opening doors because I don't know what's going on. I'll be like, "What? Where are you? What do you want? What's happening?
You'll
Why
see,
you
a,
kick down
You
each
better be
door?
bleeding."
you'll see an arm just wave out the door, like ushering you over.
Just waddles over. It's like I was reading. Just
He hears that, he'll stick out the book and be like, "Eh."
Read this instead.
and he grabs the book and looks at me like, "Okay,
like,
what do you want from it?"
okay, so, and he'll start explaining what he's read so far, and then also starts pointing out the giant whale fixture in the middle of the room, the Icky 1, Icky 2, and then the name. Let me go back to the island name.
Start with an N, I think.
Nepenthe.
Nepenthe. and starts telling Andy like, once upon a time ago, like there were these larger than life titans, these machines that roamed around on our planet, and then one way or another they just shut down. And this
Yes.
guy was trying to essentially recreate life like this. Have you heard anything like this before? Like,
I look him straight in the eye and be like, I am a walking, talking skeleton.
you know what I mean by that? Like,
Yes, I do know what you mean. It's pretty much like making a copy. I've talked to our friend, and he did say that there was more like him before when we first met, and now it's just him now. So I'm guessing that's what caused it. If you want, I can do some research on the book, see what they were looking for, see where they went. Also, and Andy's gonna tell him about the key that Andy has now have, and Andy's going to keep. And just tells him about like how the portal and this is our own space to use now. So pretty much everything here is us us to use, and that to make yourself comfortable because this will be pretty much our home now. As well as Andy, could Andy do like a science check? I know that's not a real thing, but Andy's a scientist.
Well, while looking at the book, which you flipped open to the first page and you saw said beautiful, gorgeous man in watercolor, faded, but still beautiful. Something to read for later.
Yeah, Andy's like, tell me which page the important stuff are on. I will study the rest later.
I'm actually hold on to that. I haven't finished it yet. We can peruse it together as there's still more information here about the other
Sure.
people that existed here. Right now, I'm just trying. Right now, I'm trying to
What's-
figure out like where did these people go? Because in the other rooms I explored in, they were fully furnished. Like things were still here, neat, like nice and neat. Not like they just hurriedly like drew things in a bag and left. Like they were all picture still. And the latest, like, and he talks like he shows them one of the bottles. The latest wine bottle I found in her room, the person in the book, Emily, was about 40 years ago. That's fairly young, all intents and purposes, like all things considering, that's young.
Yeah, depending on the gender, their race, though. However, it could be very old for them, depending on
Eh,
that.
I'm talking about more of the worldly aspect, like 40 years comparative to 500, 1,000. Like the temples, the buildings, the monasteries, the old broken down like uh just ruins that I've been in that were like thousands of years old. Like couldn't even make an like even find a name of like a predecessor or anything.
Well, here's the thing: they might not be the first group that's found this place. They might be another group that's found this place. Time must have passed. They must have had this group. It could have been passed on this area from place to place to place. It seems very well stocked. Also, seems like time doesn't really pass here. I would say that because our vegetables and everything would be rotten now. There'd be dust everywhere. Hence, but when I look at books, books would decay. Looked at books; they look brand new around here. So my guess is that time pretty much isn't affected in this area.
Possibly. That's a possibility. And if you check out Jack's room, you'll see that the plants are all like have their own biodomes. Like they've all been fixtured to the point where it's like they have their own spaces.
Herbology. Fantastic. I shall look if they have any more healing herbs for me. Look, let me look into this. Let me see where they went, and maybe we can find out some information for you.
Sure, but one moment. And are you going to Jack's room?
Where am I going? Like Andy's like,
Jack's room is where the plants are.
oh, the plants are. No, I was gonna research the book because you said to find out where they went, and you handed me said book.
Oh no, the book was to get you in here because I already know that you are grouchy because you said openly I was reading and this is the only way to get you where I need to get you sometimes. As he takes the book back and says, we're going to be researching this together. We're going to be discovering this together. Because we're a
my-
He wants
team.
to read her romance
But
in peace.
And it's just like, you know what? I do better researching on my own. I don't need to sleep, so I could just research the whole time.
But also, there's a lot of juicy gossip in this book, and quite frankly, I'm interested.
I want the tea.
I mean, science.
You're not getting away with that one. We both know that you're into the gossip as well. Like, how does she not understand that this man is lights on, the TV's on, nobody's home?
Dude, you don't even understand how
For
much books
skeleton
I've
that
read about
doesn't
that.
drink, you sure like a lot of tea.
Like, Andy's like, I have there are some research about that I've been researching about a lot of times, and he's like, wait, we're getting sidetracked. We're gonna come
Are
back
you
to
writing
this.
a self-help book for dating based off of all of your romance butt books?
Look, I will do some research on this, see where they went. At this time, you might want to go check on the others. Someone screamed about a spa.
Oh, that's probably Arya. Like, they've been wanting a
Yeah,
bath.
if you
they
want,
beautify themselves.
I'll be in this room, in like the science room, and I'll be in here. Seems pretty much my motif, anyways. And I will do some research on where they went. Now, beautiful N, can I do a research?
Yes, you can. You certainly can.
But I feel like we're never gonna make it to the port town.
I know.
No, we got cut.
There's too many interesting stuff here.
We saw
gave
side
you-
quests.
You saw side quest and you left. Go for a job knowledge. They'll be rolling 2 intelligence. Your intelligence isn't showing on this one.
Yeah,
And
I have my
know
other
you have
sheet.
a-
My intelligence is the number 8 die.
Yeah, so roll 2 d8s for me, please.
While that's happening, I think Thatcher would kind of flip to the last entry in the book real quick because, if he's not going to be able to see it, at least tell me the end of the story.
So that was a 10.
Okay. You got sidetracked because you did see a page with all the all the juicy gossip. You saw a page, and then you even saw a little side sketch on the side between this girl Emily, and you see that Emily looks like they were a half elf of some sort. So someone who probably who does live a long time, and so if they were still around, they'd still be fairly youthful looking, maybe albeit a little bit more mature. And you see them like a googly, like almost like a blushing, like, you know how you draw in the corner of books? I don't know if anyone has ever done this, but I as a lady back in my high school years would draw images, stick figure images, really poorly drawn, but I would draw them of kissing couples. So that tells you something.
It's like in the movie Turning Red when she started doodling.
Yeah. Emily had doodled in the corner a picture of her and this weird Prince Lothario dude, and then scratching it out and going, mixed signals that. And
Oh no!
That Deborah.
that zebra.
She going through it.
Donkey butt.
I was saying that Deborah because in our
Yeah,
party
that
that's
Deborah.
basically a curse now.
That Deborah. I like that better. Poor Deborah's.
If your name is Deborah, this is not a shot at you. We promise.
Any resemblances to name or appearance are purely coincidental.
Very.
Viewer discretion is advised.
But you do see squares in what looks to be, what languages does Andy speak?
I don't know.
Let's just say you speak them all.
I speak them. I just really like books. Okay, I spent a lot of time just at a library, just reading and learned languages.
Let's just say that you did find a section in the library downstairs of primordial written archaic primordial romance Iliad poems. You did find those. Those you secured really quickly for whatever,
what are you talking about?
for whatever reason. You secured those very quickly, and they were also next to primordial books from 100 years ago on botany. Having said that, you do find that within the last page of this journal, this pink leather bound journal, that there's still a few more pages that are empty. as if they were still going to write in it some more. But on the very last page, or the very last entry, you see them write down, "We have landed and in the skyport." And they describe the skyport, which to your understanding is not the skyport of today. It was a humble village back then, 40 years ago, and now it has grown into a bigger city. 40 years ago, the Skyport was just a little town on this island, and there were no really adventurers that were here. And the last entry is like, we have to go traveling into the middle of the wilderness amongst the debris of these titans. And Lothario Jack over here has been making eyes at Sam for who knows how long.
Oh, honey. Like, Andy's even like, oh, honey.
Oh no.
Like,
Oh.
she's like,
Sam, that
"Tess is
Deborah."
outside." And it's like, oh, honey, no.
So looking at the rooms, because Thatcher's been reading this book, you know that Sam, based on what Emily had described her, is kind of a fighter. So you're not sure exactly what you will find in that room, but it's described as they were someone who fought a lot. They were well-toned, they were very athletic, they were all kind of gruff and kind of like in your face and a little bit more or less based on the image that you see, a punk rocker. And then beside them, you see Bill and Bob were together. But they had their separate rooms. So you don't know what's in Bill's room and you don't know what's in Bob's room, but to your understanding, they were together. And Bob was not quite a scientist, but he had apparently a potion making lab, and that Bill
Andy's eyes just went,
and that sometimes both Bob and Jack often experimented with things. And then you see that Bill was the caretaker of the group. He made sure everybody was well looked after. He was the one who did all the cooking, the cleaning, the looking after everybody. And you saw that in Emily's book, all she could say about Bill is he makes the best desserts. And you find out that Bill is an orc.
Papa?
I guess Andy with this information would just be like, all right, so first
I don't
need
know who
to-
my dad is, okay?
I need to check out that potion room first of all. That'd be fantastic for me to see. But I will relay this information to my good friend beside us because I'm guessing it's in a different language. That's why he didn't know. So
that was all in the draconic aspect of the book, but for the most part, it was easy enough for Thatcher to read because she drew basically comics on every page.
So you would see all the drama happening and
Yeah.
probably commenting as well, like,
yeah, oh honey, no.
like
on,
girl,
Like
just give up, find someone else.
she can
Please.
do better. She
I mean,
can do
there
better.
were apart from Jack, there were also other drawings in her book of like all the different party members. You find that Bill is an orc. Bob was a halfling. You find that Jack was obviously human with very good looks. Roscoe was an interesting person. They were bird folk.
Ooh.
And Sam was this comely looking human girl. And Emily looked beautiful.
Of
All
course,
right.
you gotta look. You're the main character. You gotta look good.
So we know that they went to a forest near the port and they suddenly just went missing after that.
That's odd though, because if they went missing, then how did all their stuff end up here?
I don't think
But
it would be
that
all
the
of it.
forest doesn't exist anymore. The where we are used to be forest.
But either
'Cause
way,
if you
it's
think about town expansion requires construction material, which could be lumber.
Are you saying this in front of them while you're downstairs in a spa?
yeah,
No.
Lexi, you're not here.
Sorry.
You're
That's
not
what-
here.
It's just part of the conversation.
You're not here.
Above the table, player wise. You guys can speculate.
Yeah,
feel free to
you're
do
saying this
so.
is me, not
Yeah,
as
no.
Leslie. Leslie doesn't think of these things. Leslie would be busy being like, desserts? I
Yeah.
need to go to that guy's room if Leslie was there.
Yeah. Either
Um,
way, right now it just seems like that's what we have to go on. So we could do some more research, but it seems like they were going to check something in the forest and then they just never came back.
And they were eventually going to go to words.
Nepenthe.
Nepenthe.
If it
I-
helps, it rhymes with repent.
That does help.
Nepenthe. There we go.
Mhm.
It seems like they were going to go to Nepenthe at some point. I mean,
Yeah.
I was going to find my way there as well, but now I kind of want to know more about what they were trying to do.
Well, we could talk to the others. They might find something. They're also exploring downstairs in the basement. I heard Leslie fall. They're fine. It's Leslie, but
Yeah,
It wasn't
I
fine.
heard them and Stella just, it's the usual. We can go check on them and then we can get back to the rooms and probably see if Arya's okay. We should probably get the cat out of the bath. The cat
you know
is
what? I'm gonna leave that to you. Last time I tried to, they kept on scratching my bones, and
Nope.
I'm not
Nope.
going. Mm-mm.
So let's do this. We get Leslie, they get the cat, and then we get back to
But
this.
there's a potion room.
What if I'm injured?
I would have been
Yes,
screamed.
let's send the injured
Andy.
cripple to go get the cat that gets angry when you take it out of the comfy warm water.
In Thatcher's mind, he's like, I'm not getting scratched. This is a beautiful face. Mm-mm.
So
This
the
is
bones
not
have
good.
to get scratched.
I will have you know, Leslie is a very good-looking orc. Okay,
To
Leslie's
be,
very attractive for his species.
to be fair, Leslie did look very good in that amber light, and I missed out on a very funny Andy joke because I was distracted. So, anyway,
What? What's
So-
going on with Andy?
Whatever you want, baby.
Well, anyway, so
Moving on.
we're going to zoom out while you guys decide to join the rest of the party. And you have this moment. Are you guys playing rock, paper, scissors before we zoom out?
Oh yeah, we're just like, who has to get the cat out of the bed?
bold of you to assume the cat went.
Okay, let's do this properly, please.
Yeah.
Let's do this properly. On a count of one, rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, okay.
One.
Wait, what?
I said on a count of one.
I was taking a countdown. That doesn't. Wait.
Is it rock, paper, scissors or rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Hey, this is probably going to continue on for a moment.
Amazing. Best 2 out of 3. They just keep going.
Just continue it in chat.
Yes.
Ah, okay, that's one. Zooming out while they're doing that. You have found the spa room. You also found the swimming pool. You also found in this deep under tunnel basement thing in this weird subspace. They are all functional.
What I want to know about is
it's
the freezer and the fridge.
you open the freezer and the fridge, Leslie, and a frost. Which one do you want to go first?
Let's go with the fridge first.
Okay, you open the fridge, and a blast of cool air goes into you. Similar if you open like those cool fridges or those cool boxes in a restaurant, and you see shelves immaculately organized with stuff like spaghetti sauces. You see some produce that has been chopped up and put away into neatly placed, almost like weird glass thing. It's been 40 years in the future, so glass usually isn't used to hold things anymore unless you have a couple of things like that. Usually nowadays people use magic bento boxes of some sort. Like they've learned to preserve food on the go. This here is like old style fridge. Like it is chilled, it is nice, it is big, it is well organized. Whoever was here, they kept a tight ship on food supplies. Like they are your kind of people, Leslie, because looking around, you're like, yeah, The garlic's supposed to go there. That is what you're supposed to do with jarred garlic. Yes, there's the pickles. Yes, that is mayo. I understand that. You look over to the left-hand side. Ooh, I like it. They have bottle collections of like different um, sauces from everywhere across Pharrell. You find elderberry sauce. You've got your equivalent of this world's soy sauce. You have the equivalent of different sauces that you would use to create really savory, very good foods. Peering over your shoulder, Arya's with you, although they might have dashed around the
Oh
corner.
no,
but they-
Arya is 1,000% doing that thing that cats do, like where they like follow you, but you like trip over them, like you almost trip over them because they're like right behind you. You should just go like right behind Leslie in the fridge.
I feel like I just pick her up by the scruff and just hold her up so that I know she's not going to bump or mix up any of this beautifulness.
Off to the side, a row hanging from the side.
Is it catnip?
It is not catnip. It is not catnip. We'll get to the catnip. No, this is tuna.
I'm glad I already said I had her by the scruff.
There is salmon. Just like the way they usually place fish.
Can I lock this fridge?
You could try.
The way that Arya's pupils dilate upon seeing the fish.
It's beautiful.
No.
Like they are raw. And you know that some fish are within the kingdoms of Minami. You can tell because they're well known for this. They sometimes have things they call sushi rolls and nori rolls. The fish here are that quality and that grade, well preserved. And like almost fresh.
Leslie, let me go, Leslie, please.
No.
Pretty please, sushi. I would love some sushi. Pretty please.
Later.
Please.
Later.
But it's right there.
No.
He's calling my name.
No, it's not. It's dead. And then I call her out. We close the fridge. Move on to the freezer. Actually, no, I don't open the freezer. I open the spa and I throw her in. And then I close the spa.
In the spa, it lights up the moment you're in there and looking around. The way it lights, it's just crystals of light shimmering, glancing off the walls, rainbow reflections everywhere, and the water looks so clear and steaming. It is so peaceful in here. And you see like a little water fixture that looks like, those angel spouts in the fountains?
Oh my gosh.
There's that. And then there's like in the middle this mermaid holding like a pearl. And then the pearl is surrounded by a dragon kind of looking thing, like that's scaling over, and it's supposed to represent the world, like in the middle of the spa. And you see that there is all along the walls it's supposed to feel like it's a natural oasis. It's river stone rock. There is slabs of slate that have been softened around the edges so you can actually sit on the rock like you're outside but not outside. And then you look up. Stars, constellations. You see a shooting star go by.
So I open the door with Arya there. See all of this. I'm like, look at the pretty lights. Throw them in and then close.
As you go to throw claws sink into your arm.
But I'm holding you by the back of your neck. You're scruffed, man.
Scruffed, never mind. I cannot grab you. I forgot that.
You're scruffed.
Yes.
This is not Leslie's first time dealing with cat.
She's trying. She's like, let me.
This is why Leslie handles Arya, because we're like, nope.
Yep.
Look at the pretty lights. Go. Just close the door behind and maybe try and barricade it somehow.
You can't really, like, you lean against it, and for a moment, you're at the door, Arya.
Yeah, she scratches it. She's scratching it like a cat, but not because of not because she wants to get out, but because she's trying to get Leslie's attention. She's like, Leslie, you gotta come in here. You gotta see this.
I'm ignoring her pointedly.
Leslie, please. And then like the please comes out like that howl like cats do when they really want to be let into a room. The one that like wakes you up at 3 a.m. and you're like, please stop singing the song of your people. Please stop.
I'll come later. You do what you do.
No, come now. Don't leave me in this room by myself. Still clawing at the door, so you're just hearing like against the door.
Take a bath or something.
This isn't. No, you gotta see this.
I got other things to do.
You can be inspired to make soup.
I've already got so much inspiration. I'm already gonna make soup.
Leslie! Again, that like sound of like the howling.
You can hear this now. Like it's unbelievably loud. The moment you leave the rooms from upstairs, you do hear the cat yowls.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, so it's up to you to go figure it out.
I know. I lost. I see Annie's just like takes off their lab coat and just goes like it just like shows like the
My nice lab
turtleneck
coat.
sweater and like puts it like on like the chair and just goes, I ain't destroying another coat, and just like rolls up their sleeves and walks downstairs, just like in their kind of like jean-like pants, like a gray turtleneck, and their sleeves rolled up like this as they're walking downstairs. And they take off their glasses and like fold it, like close it and put it under like the clip here, and just goes to the door and just sees Leslie and goes, "Hey, Leslie."
You walking past Stella, you do notice that they have gone onto their robotic knees and have just fallen asleep, nose into the barrel.
All right, I think I'm just gonna look at that and go, you might want to check on the camel. Just like walk downstairs.
You find a whole bunch of like produce and canned vegetables, whatever tubes and things like that they had, like the carrots and the root vegetables that they had. Somebody was probably going to make them into some sort of canned preservatives, because there's a whole array of preservatives that you walk past, and you see Leslie basically back against the door. I mean, you hear your friend.
Leslie.
Can you deal with this? She doesn't want to be alone, but I need to check things. There is a freezer full of things I have not seen.
Take me with you.
Not after the fish.
I will go chill. Sorry. And just like knocks on the door.
So
like,
as soon as he says that, I like grab him by like whatever, the spine or something.
No.
Quickly open the door,
like
throw
this.
him in, and close the door.
I
Arya can get out.
Andy is so light, just shoot rockets and like lands right in the water and just looks like gets up and just is just like pure wet, sweater soaked, and just like
Waterlogged and dripping. I mean, does Andy feel heat?
Is water wet?
Does Andy feel heat? I don't think Andy does feel heat. I think Andy maybe. You know what? I'm gonna say, because it is magic, even though Andy denies magic, they can feel heat and they can feel cold.
Yeah, it's steaming, and you were just thrust
in there
into a steaming pool of water.
I only have one sweater.
This was not the way you intended for this sweater to go out.
I feel like Annie would climb out of the pool, just take out the sweater, just like draining it. It's like, so why are you crying? And just
and like Ariella has completely, but like as Andy flew over, she just kind of did the thing like, oh. Like, you know how like when you throw a cat, the cat is immediately distracted. Like that's what happened. And she looks at Andy as he brings out his couch. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know you could fly that far, but I didn't want to be alone."
I didn't know either.
Leslie was gonna leave me here by myself just because I wanted sushi.
I see. If I had my books on me, I think Leslie would be in so much problems. I'm just looking and looking at it, and I'm just like skeleton rib cage, just like in like just pants, and it's just like draining out the sweater, just like
You have some nice bones.
It's someone's fantasy.
it's so
Yeah. Aria's like, you have some nice bones.
thanks.
It's
I
body
appreciate
structure.
it.
You have all your ribs. They're not broken or missing.
Not today.
You good?
The timing of that was perfect. I was like, we've either broken Blackwell or Blackwell's just choked us. But it's the moment.
Yeah. All right.
I choke on my saliva all the time.
So yeah, I guess I'm chilling in here with you until they deem that we are allowed to come out. It's not like I had some reading and research to do.
Does that mean that you and I are having a spa day?
Oh god. And he's just like, oh no. As he like has his glasses out and he's just like, oh no.
He's like, wee! And like grabs him before he can even put his glasses on.
No,
And like,
no.
kind of a thing where the glasses just get left like spinning in the air as she like drags him into the spa.
There's so much going on.
Off to the side of the spa, Arya very quickly finds that there's change rooms with nicely appointed towels. There's even bathrobes in this change room
Is there
with
a cucumber?
not yet. There's just a silver plate that comes with an equipment for what you usually put on your face at a spa. No cucumbers here. The cucumbers are with Leslie at the moment. Well,
Probably for
we
the
haven't
best,
had those
knowing
either.
Cat's reactions to cucumbers.
mhm. The bathrooms that you find have names on them. The names of the bathrobes are Jack, Emily, Roscoe, Bob, Bill. Bill is great. It was really big one. And then you see Bob's, it's like really tiny, itty bitty. And then you see also one for Sam. Although Sam's, instead of being like a nice white robe, it is dark, fluffy, and warm looking.
It's crazy. The bathroom's supposed to be fluffy.
Hmm Very
I
fluffy.
think at this point, because she hasn't seen the rooms, Andy would classify the rooms, what we found in the diary and everything, and just be like, so there were people here, they're no longer here. It's a big mystery. At this point, I think Andy's like took off their pants because they're just like, they're soaked now too, and it's just like grabbed one of the robes and put it on. It's like, this is just weird.
Which robe?
Whose robe?
Tell us a name. Whose robe? Is it Jack's?
Because they're a skeleton, they're skinny. I'm gonna go with the small robe because
How
they don't
short?
have much. Just
How short
I
is
feel
this small
so-
robe?
To describe each robe, Jack's robe is the standard white with a gold J and Jack on it. The next robe is pink. Beautiful pink and fluffy. It is gorgeous. It was made for comfort and style. Third robe is just it's weird. There's like long holes on either side of where the arms go, as if the person who wore it, they had very long arms for whatever rhyme or reason. Now knowing what the images are on the thing, that one is definitely for Roscoe. The next robe over is itty bitty, almost like the size of a baby.
okay, did that one.
Like not a baby, like halfling sized. A halfling sized robe with the name of Bill on it. And then Bob.
I thought Bill was the
Bob.
orc, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
With the
sure
name
Bill
of
and its
Bob.
teeny tiny little
Well, like,
robe.
wait, which one? With the name of Bob on it. And then the big one has Bill's name on it. And then there's the black robe that says Sam on it. Then there's also the standard, like, stuff you would see in a hotel kind of robes.
I guess I would take the Sam one. Just
For Emily's,
around.
I'm almost picturing like those like
It's very
widow suspicious widow robes, or it's like the feather hair, it's long and like
Oh,
dramatic.
it's just like
Yes.
it's puffy, it's
Yes.
fluffy. I think that like with their
Yes.
bones and everything, they're just like this is comfort. I'm gonna put this one on.
Well, it's
You
the
feel it in
black
your
one,
bones?
too, so I was like, that's a very hot topic of you. To pick the goth robe. But I think that Arya is definitely going for the pink and fluffy one. Like she looks at the first one for a minute, like a hot minute, because it's so big and like oversized, and she's like, and then she's like, no, I'm gonna like. Then she decides on the pink robe, and she's like, okay, facial time, and like starts rooting around for stuff that they could do for a facial.
There is cupboards filled with facial supplies. There's also cupboards filled with different oils that were probably used for, relaxation, some aromatherapy, and also massages and physiotherapy and those kinds of things that you need as an adventurer on the road. You also find a lot of like really cool ointments for healing here.
Whoa! And he's like, ooh.
And Andy's back.
And Andy, you classify that some of these ointments, you're probably sure they're about 40 years old. They're still in good condition, like almost brand new. And some of them would sell a lot of money in the right hands.
What's
I
funny is that
called
Arya
it.
doesn't know. Arya doesn't know this, so like she's going through the cabinets and she keeps throwing them away.
Like Andy's like rushing to like save them, just
Yeah,
like
like, throwing them like you know, like when you go through the cupboard and you're like throwing stuff that you don't need. That's kind of like what she's doing.
Then you find Roscoe's cabinet.
Ooh.
Inside Roscoe's cabinet, you find, to your both disgust and pleasure, dry jerky. Tons of strange fish jerky, pork jerky, beef jerky, with different teriyaki sauces. This guy liked to snack.
It's like Arya's
like-
has become the bag and strips commercial now.
Like full on, like, even though Roscoe isn't here, he was well kept in the snack area. Like his cupboard just filled with snacks. And also, to your surprise, there's a little gold case. You lift it up and you smell it a little bit. Oh, there's only one thing in the
no.
world.
Is it catnip?
Yes.
I'm gonna need help.
What does the bird have catnip?
Her eyes go wide, like pupils dilate all over again.
And you see that
We're
the
gonna have
gold,
a good Sunday.
the gold case actually has a name on it. And the name is Cassie.
Ooh. I wonder who Cassie is.
I wonder if Roscoe had a pet cat.
Arya pockets the catnip.
I guess.
You got a problem.
What are you talking about?
Leslie, in the meantime, who is not present in the rummaging of people's cabinets in the spa and about to have a spa day, inside the freezer, looking around, there's a wall of ice cream. Like a gigantic wall. You don't know how, you don't know why, and you don't really even care at this moment. But there is ice cream of multitude of flavors in buckets. Buckets. And then there's one. You open it up, it is vanilla. And it is a huge cask of vanilla ice cream.
Well, all right then.
And then
So-
along the walls, just different ice cream.
So is the whole freezer just ice cream?
Just the one wall.
Okay.
The other walls are filled with the usual things you find in the freezer, frozen meats and other strange things. Although the sarcophagus on the back corner is a little bit different.
Okay. Is it the Leslie is drawn to the non-kosher thing in the freezer?
The non-food thing in the freezer is basically a sarcophagus.
Oh, that
Yeah, I
escalated
was gonna say that he
quickly.
goes and like, goes to like open it potentially.
You look at the sarcophagus, it is frozen shut because it's got ice on all over it. And you see a haphazard note taped on it that says, "Please do not touch."
Oh. I mean, we don't touch other people's snacks.
See, I'm like trying to decide if Leslie would just like and then move on, or if he'd be like, not in my freezer, and like pull it out and thaw it and figure out what the heck it is. Or like open it, but I'm like, you know what? I think Leslie would think, you know what? That's a later problem. That's a later problem.
It's fine.
He's got other things on the brain. He's got recipes going. He's got stew to make for dinner. He's trying to inventory. Like, do I have everything I need to make those cookies?
Yes. Now that you're found here, I mean, in the fridge, you saw eggs. You saw the other things you would need to make the cookies.
Cool. And he gathers what he needs to start making the stew. And then while that's stewing, because that takes a while, you gotta simmer it, let it mingle all the flavors. He's also gonna start making some of those cookies for the dragons.
Absolutely. You guys,
and make sure that the rest of the pantry is Stella proof.
This is going to be hard to Stella proof this pantry
As best as he can.
Yeah, without knowing all of the ways this thing locks and things. Sudden discoveries are always fun, but we will get to that. As I'm just going to double check a message. I think nope. Okay. We're going to say, because with Ryuutama, it is a traveling kind of TTRPG. Part of the adventure is figuring out, like, the entire adventure is, what do you find along the way between point A and B? You guys spent basically the rest of the night in this space, recovering from your adventures with the Furbos, learning more about these people who are very interesting from 40 years ago. And in terms of Stella proofing this place, how would you like to do that?
Mostly just like, other than the obvious already tainted barrel of half regurgitated oats, just making sure like what all is accessible to her, like that she can easily get in, see how I can move that somewhere she can't get in. Barrels that are more heavily sealed, make sure those are maybe in places that she could reach but can't necessarily get into, that kind of thing.
It'll take a while. There's a lot of inventory here. Even looking around, you're surprised by how much food is here.
They'll be like prioritizing stuff that she would be more drawn to, because like I doubt she's going to get into the flour, whereas oats, that's more her thing. Makes you like, the honey is out of her reach.
The honey is out of her reach. There's sugar cubes.
That also needs to be out of her reach.
Stella, you also understand this about Stella, is that Stella understands how her legs work to some extent. If she wants to rest, she just needs to think about resting, and she will go automatically down. If she needs to stretch, which is one of the commands that Thatcher have given her, her legs will double in height.
Thatcher, what have you done? Why have you taught your camel this thing?
All intents and purposes, Stella did it on her own. He didn't teach her nothing.
No, the GM just told me you taught her to stretch.
She probably saw Thatcher do it one time, like he stretched, and then Stella figured it out. It was like, ooh.
So maybe I'll move some of that stuff downstairs where she can't get. She can't go down the stairs.
No, the door is too narrow for her. As you basically have to lumberjack,
repurpose one of the other bedrooms into a new pantry upstairs.
And upstairs she won't be able to get to. It's hard to get up those stairs for her. You're able to get a good portion of it out of her reach. The sugar and the honey were the first things to go.
Yeah.
The other barrel of oats was thankfully closed. There was a lid on it, but the other stuff was still easily enough to like move out of her way so she doesn't nip at the sacks of bags and opens it up with her mouth. The unfortunate thing was that there was a basket of apples that she got into.
Was is
Past
the
that.
keyword. Yeah.
Yeah. There now is a nice surprise there that would require cleaning.
Thatcher.
Thatcher is nowhere near us.
Well, because Andy told you to go deal with your sleeping camel. I will hunt you down to clean up the poop.
Thatcher is nowhere around. He heard what Andy said, but he's currently enthralled with searching the other rooms as he's.
Except
I think
you
he kept
forget
the
that
book,
that's
too.
where I took the other food.
You find a very huffing and puffing breath, depending on which room you go to, Leslie, to place said items. Which room is Thatcher in? Since Andy left them about an hour ago.
Who would have been the next one? We went to Jack, Emily, Roscoe.
Probably
Who would have been
Sam.
the next?
I feel like if it was a cross, it would be Sam.
The room across Roscoe is Sam's, and then the next room beside that is Bill. The next room beside that is Bob's. And then you've got the weapon room before Bob's room, and then the armory before Jack's room.
I think he would have gone into Sam's room because that would have been the next person that he saw that they talked about in the journal, and just started perusing around in there, seeing if they found the notebook. His goal right now is to see if there's any more notebooks, anything that says who these people were.
Sure.
And who they were way off.
Mm-hmm. So, in Sam's room, as you rummage around, I'm just going to continue with the old checks that you guys did. You find in Sam's room it's sparse, like military Spartan sparse, like not a thing out of place. Whoever Sam was, they were very, very clean. Until you open their closet. And then when you open their wardrobe and their closet, it's just Hot Topic-esque style, clothing, and fashion, neatly arranged by shade. And bottom drawers immaculately kept, like just super well appointed. And then as you continue looking around, looking for any evidence, any sign of who Sam is and or was, you don't really find much, just jewelry, all sorts of jewelry. And when you look at the jewelry, some of the jewelry is labeled. There is, beside each item that they were given in this one place that you find the jewelry, given to me by Jack, a bracelet from Emily. And then you see Roscoe wanted me to try these out. They didn't really work so well, but I'll keep them as keepsake. Broken knuckle braces. And then you see on one side, like they kept whatever keepsake that the others had given them. That's their journal.
I feel like they're the ones that labeled all of the rooms in the house.
Yes, they really were.
I think he starts like looking at their notebook and Emily's notebook, and Thatcher starts musing about how I feel like Sam was coming to terms with some things, like about their, like, you know, their stylistic choices. I wonder what they were like. And I think at that point he probably hears Leslie like screaming out their name, and he's like, okay, let me go actually see what my party's doing.
Lumbering out. Leslie, what are you carrying right now?
Probably carrying like a sack of like something, like maybe like the sack of sugar or something to the room, because I probably noticed it, the gift left in the apple basket as I was taking the last of the stuff I was going to take before starting dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So probably carrying that, or actually I might even be carrying the basket.
Oh, okay.
Shove into Thatcher's hands and be like, deal with this.
You're okay. So if you're holding the basket, there's a couple of options for you. The kitchen's on the one side, dining room's on the other side. The comfy fireplace in the middle is there, and then wall of books, and then the set of stairs. going up behind the wall of books.
Okay. But you said options though. If I'm carrying the basket,
If you're carrying the basket, the options are if this basket were to be placed somewhere, they will at some point contaminate certain items in this area if not placed properly.
I think the funny thing is if Leslie is trying to shove like the basket towards Thatcher, he will try to dodge it, just be like no.
then I don't think I carry the basket. I think I'm still carrying the sugar because I don't necessarily want to get the poop on my hands, and just demand that Thatcher deal with it appropriately. Otherwise, no dinner.
You found that there was no washroom yet in this place?
I would imagine that would be in like the spa or something, wouldn't it?
Yes.
But that's a Thatcher problem to solve.
I think when Leslie comes up and says that he should deal with this, he kind of just looks at them and says, "Now, Leslie, how are we supposed to ask people to do things again? That wasn't really nice."
You know what wasn't nice? Not checking on me when I fell down the stairs. Do you want dinner?
But still,
You want dinner?
this route of
Do you want dinner?
conversation is not nice. And doing it like that, trying to stonewall someone into an answer, is not nice. Now, we could talk about this as civilized people, or you can still have a poopy problem downstairs.
Do you
How
want
would you
poop
like
in
to
your
deal
dinner?
with this? You know, I
It's
could
your
actually,
camel.
you know, I could go for a while without eating. So again, we could be nice. I imploring you to be nice, because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to deal with that because you're the one who's cooking. I don't think you want contaminated food. So would you like to be nice?
Leslie says please, but internally notes he's spitting in Thatcher's food.
I just love how they're having this conversation. I feel like Andy they're just both sitting on lawn chairs, just
Yeah.
like there's some masks on Andy, and Andy's like, I don't know if this helps me at all. All I get is shh.
Yeah, Arya's like, just relax. Oh my god, you're gonna look so good after this. Like their time at the spa, like when they're done, Andy is gonna be super shiny. Just like
Just a reflective surface.
Yeah, he's basically a reflective surface, or they're basically a reflective surface when they're done. So when they're done with all of this,
Shiny and chrome.
yes, they're gonna look like your metal D20.
Oh god.
So
They're gonna be screaming,
golden.
"Witness me!" as they go crazy.
Yes.
So I think when Leslie says please, he's like, see, again, kindness. Now let's call our friend Icky to see what we can do about this. As he phones up Icky, like, so Stella had an accident.
When you call Icky the next time, it takes him a couple of rings to do so. And when he does, he's like, "Oh, sorry." He clatters. You see the body of a furbo on this upside. Icky kind of grabs the phone and then props you up kind of on the base thing. Sorry about that. I was trying to fix the furbos. Unfortunately, when I was in there last, all I know is that you can take stuff out if you so wish. There is a depository in here if you want to deposit sewage.
Well, let's go find that. And then you can get back to cooking. As he looks to Leslie, like, you can get back to your sanctuary.
Let's.
And then I can get back to this, unless you would like to join me in searching the rooms. Oh, before I forget. And he will dig through his pockets and hand Leslie the different like the different herbs and things like that, the ones that aren't suspect. And the wines as well, the ones that he found. He's like, I found these and I think they will help you more so than me. While he takes the, which one was it? Where is the chat? There you are. No, chat, come here. There you
Roll
are.
20. Roll 20.
I think he'll take the Glowfire Dry and say, now this one I plan on selling. Now these two though, I think you could find some worth in this along with these herbs and things I found here. There's also a room, and he points to Jack's room. You might find some stuff in there, like some, use your expertise.
Leslie grunts in appreciation, takes them, and then goes back down to the kitchen.
Once again, being nice gives you better results. Just saying.
Doesn't respond. He just moves.
The grunt is equal to a thank you you've found over the time that you spent with Leslie. That's as good as you're going to get from Leslie at that moment. Going towards where Stella has
Relieved herself?
relieved themselves, as well as a small, interesting odor coming from a puddle nearby.
Well, what can we do? And he tries to find anything that's like gloves, like just getting it all up. Tries to find a bag, something, just getting it all tied up, neat up. Because in his brain, he's like, I ain't picking this up with my bare hands. Where's some gloves? Where's
All
a
I'm
bag?
thinking is like Andy's like, I'm so happy I lost that rock, paper, scissors.
Off to the side, there's another room, and when you open the room, it's a janitorial closet. And then you see something very interesting. There's different labels for the different spray bottles. Whoever labeled everything in this space, they probably did it to help themselves, because they are in alphabetical, numerical order.
Kind of looks at it and he's just like, this was probably Sam. Good
Um,
work,
on,
Sam. Good job.
on the middle shelf, you see supplies, and then off to the corner of your eye, you see spray go. And then in little notes, and what you've realized was Sam's writing, we'll take care of anything you don't want to touch. In capitals.
He picks that up immediately and says, well, let's give this a try.
Sure. Where would you like? Where'd you aim first?
He's going to see like, First, he's going to see if there's any instructions. Like, so how does this work? Like, if Sam's the way I think is, how they are. Is there instructions? Like, is it like shake then fire?
There is a Wemyss. There's a Wemyss label on it, and in Sam's very neat writing with another person's writing on it. It's almost like they work together to make this look good. It's almost like they started labeling it spray go and then thrust it to somebody to explain what it did. And in another person's handwriting, a little bit messier than Sam's, it looks like they hurriedly wrote it down. Just don't use on metal surfaces. You will not see the metal ever again.
Good to know. Good to know. And so he starts spraying at the camel, pile, the camel dropping pile.
The moment you spray it, half of the thing disappears.
Oh. He kind of looks at the bottle. Oh, I'm gonna have to keep you just in case. He sprays the rest of the mess.
You spray the rest of this, they're gone. Do you touch any of the area that you sprayed?
No. I think if he does, he's gonna take like a mop because he's like, okay, I sprayed something. I'm not gonna use my hand. He's gonna find something like a mop and see just in case. Because in his mind, he's like, what happens if I don't? Again, my body is my market because this face, this body, these hands, just he finds like somebody's kind of mop, just kind of like, act like you're still cleaning.
Yeah, you find the mop, you touch the affected area, and the moment you do so, strands of the mop disappear as well as it soaks up whatever was there. Until you have like half a head of a mop.
Huh. Is there any instruction saying like how to clean it up, or is it just that's it, like whatever is on that bottle?
The bottle says use sparingly, only need 2 sprays. And then underneath it,
everything will disappear until it dries up.
What's the floor doing?
The floor has kind of when you sprayed it, the floor, which is made out of stone, the stone kind of seems to like do this weird bubble effect. Like
Like a bath bomb?
it's kind of it because it's stone, but looking at it, it's not really stone.
Huh. He's gonna look at a part of the floor that's not sprayed and see if it's like gets that same feeling of like it's stone, but it's not stone.
It's stone, like what you're standing on, it's stone, but where you sprayed, it was stone or looked like stone, but now it looks like it's bubbling, and then as it bubbles, it reverts back.
He looks at the bottle and he says, "You know what? I'm gonna have Andy also look at this. I'm just gonna put this back right here." Like I imagine, like with that, you know, the mess is done. He'll shout out to Leslie, like, "I'm done. If you need to be back in here, I'll be upstairs though." As he goes back upstairs to peruse the other rooms.
You find other things. Once you go back into the other rooms and you peruse on other things, Bill's room is the most cleanest. There is nothing out of place there. There's a couple of cooking books, and then he's got like in a trunk, just in a trunk randomly, travel supplies. And you open it up, it's camping supplies, camping gear, just tons of camping gear and other accoutrements. And then you have like on one side, this guy took care of everybody. So on the other side, he's got like a sewing kit, he's got fabrics, he's got like all sorts of things to fix things with, but mostly like small bending things. Then you see that he's got like in one glass kind of looking cabinet, different potion bottles, and again, very neatly labeled. And again, looking like Sam's handwriting and looking at the bottles, it's like standard healing potion, superior healing potion, potion that will make you fly, potion do not drink, it will make you feel sick, potion, like you're not sure why they labeled it the way it is, but it made sense to them.
I think he'll pick up the regular potion and the greater potion and the potion that will make you fly. He's like, "Okay, yep, these are going with me. We're going to leave the potion that will make you sick." Actually, he'll take it and put it in another pocket, saying, "This will be for Andy to analyze later."
Andy's getting a list of chores to do.
In his mind, he's like,
Chores
Andy's
or
just
activities?
Activities, let's be honest. Andy's going to be
He's-
very excited.
because in his mind, he's like, he could do this, but it's also like, he might miss something. While he's going to give it to the expert who may be able to understand it more. Sure, the expert may be a little aggro because I'm interrupting their reading, their quote unquote knowledgeable reading, but he's like, but physical knowledge, like getting your hands dirty, that's the true knowledge. And I think he'll also look around for a book because he's getting the sense that Bill is more like the father figure, like he's the dad of the group, like again, like that sense of caretaker. And so maybe like Emily, maybe there was like a journal, a note, something, just anything that says who they were and where they came from and how did all this get here.
Go to your stat and you will see that you have your intelligence. You are a hunter, so feel free.
So intelligence, we're going to do 2d8 again. Oh, my d8. Yeah, it's one. That's a 2d8. Okay, cool. That's a 14. Nice.
Nice. In the midst of the cooking books that might be of some interest to Leslie, as you're looking at them, you find a small journal, just kind of tucked away, leather bound. You open it up, it's nearly full. About 40 years ago, there's the dates from 40 years ago. You see all those notes. You see that first entry that is inside the journal. Bill wrote down. Bob wrote down. Nope, hold on.
Not Bill.
Bill wrote down, met these people at the pub earlier, was going to visit my grandma in Carvalho. Grandma Debbie, but got waylaid and checked. I looked over to the corner of my eye. I'm sorry. I just saw a face. Left Grandma Debbie a while ago, and they told me to come back safe. I will. But I met these strangers just outside of Carvalho proper, and they decided to take me on as a healer or some sort of help and assistance. So I shall go ahead and follow them. You find that Bill has a lot of things to say about his very interesting comrades. You get all the notes. You find out that Bob is allergic to peanuts. You find a note that reads, Roscoe has a cat named Cassie. They're not really a cat. And then you see tucked in there from 40 years ago a Polaroid. And you see this bird folk with a very large leopard beside them.
Oh boy.
Okay. Does the image sync up with how Emily drew them?
Very similar to what Emily did, but how Emily depicted them is more of like an anime caricature rather than a proper image of who that person was. Next page, you see a picture of a halfling with Bob, and then you see a recipe for Bob and Bill's donuts. And it's a recipe of donuts that they had made together. And you'll flip open the back, you see that Bill had wrote down Bob and Bill. You see a date from 40 years ago. And then underneath that, you read, we made the best donuts here in Nepenthe Hollow. And that's something that they had written down. They had been to Nepenthe and they were going to go back again. It's starting to connect into your head. They had come here to do some research for Roscoe, and then they were going to go back to Nepenthe because they keep going back and forth between the two islands. So third page, you see an image of this beautiful half elf with long red hair, very similar to the image that Emily drew of herself. And you see that Emily is holding like a pair of earrings and like going like a big huge smile. And then on the back, Bill has written down Emily's first big purchase, diamond earrings from a store in Vakken. And beside it, you see there's a recipe for Emily's tiramisu. And like very specific instructions on how to make Emily's tiramisu. And then you keep flipping, and then you see more pictures of Bob and Bill together. Then you see pictures of Roscoe and Emily together. Then you see a picture of Jack. And you haven't seen much about Jack. You can see that Bill tended to hang out with Bob or Emily. And then when you see a picture of Jack is a stern looking man. Like he's not at all like depicted in Emily's art form. Very similar, yes, but not at all like him. You do see the chiseled jaw, but you also notice that there's a scar under one eye, and you see there's a very stern looking look on his face. When the funniest thing about this is that all around him is like this poinsettia, this vine that has grown around him. And then on the back, Bill has made a happy face on the back that says, Jack with his vine, Izzy. And on it, you see not a recipe for food, but instead you see how to care instructions for Izzy and their roots, and a full instructions on how you're supposed to take care of this plant. And then you keep going until you see finally an image of Emily. And Emily is surprising. They are human. Long, dark hair, dark brown eyes, slightly tan complexion, So they kind of look like they're a mix of something.
Emily or Sam?
Sorry, Sam.
Okay.
Not Emily. Emily, we've discussed is beautiful in that like Valley Girl way. No, the Sam looks like they're kind of mixed. They have beautiful long black hair that kind of curls at the end, and they have like a huge slash against one eye, and you can see that they're kind of blind in the one eye. And you also notice that they don't have an arm. They have like a robotic hand. As the how Bill had taken this picture, they weren't even looking up. They were just looking down as if thinking with this robotic arm. And then looking at this image, you see almost kind of lovingly Emily in deep thought. Dated from 40 years ago, and a little heart beside it with Bill that Bill had drawn. And then you see Emily's comfort stew. And like it's a recipe for a stew to comfort Emily when she's feeling down. And then you also see other recipes for Emily. You see a comfort stew for Emily. You see salad for Emily. Then you flip through a couple more pages and then you read Emily's favorite dessert, strawberry cheesecake with mulberry syrup on top of it. And then next over, a recipe for the stuff that Emily has found for me. And then you see a picture of Emily and Bill like holding on to each other, just staring at the camera. Emily has like a really weird smile, like they almost don't know how to smile. And then you see Bill with a big smile on his face. So like looking at them, you can see that these people lived 40 years ago. They were alive 40 years ago, and they had so much, like you're starting to know who these people are through Bill's book. And a lot of it is like just recipes and then pictures.
What color was Bill's hair?
Bill's hair is a hazel red.
Are my parents Bill and Sam? Is that a thing?
Who
That's
knows?
interesting. I guess we'll know when Thatcher gives you the book and be like, hey, look at this.
Well, I don't know. I never met my dad, and my mom died in childbirth. I was raised by Graham.
But you do also see towards the end there, you do see that Bob was sick.
Oh.
And that Bill was beside them, and you see Sam on the other side of them holding their hand. And in the back, Bob recovering from a really bad bout. And then underneath it, trying to find a healing potion for him. Hopefully we can find something here. And he names the island that you're on in El Marinan. He names the location that you're in. And he wrote down, Roscoe is looking for something to help us build a flight. I'm looking to find the right kind of herb or material to help Bob get over his sickness.
I think when he reads that part, there's kind of like a weird sinking feeling that goes into his stomach as he knows the last room's Bob. He starts making connections in his head. He's like, airships weren't a thing probably back then. And getting to and from the islands, as Emily said in her book, required scrolls, like magic scrolls. And those probably weren't easy to procure, easy to create, probably took some time. A flying whale. And would he know about flying whales? Would this be like a creature that he knows about?
I mean, they were extinct. You would have seen them in the old museums and some drawings from old ancient ruins that you guys have been to, but none living.
Flying whales, they were carriers, like very friendly creatures. Like they went to and from the islands. Easier to just jump on one and would it take you somewhere versus trying to tame them. Taming a giant whale just beyond even comprehension. If he made something mechanical though that acted like a flying whale, he starts thinking more as he's talking aloud to himself. It would have been easier for them to find the resources to save their friend Bob. Who is Bob exactly? Like, why do they care about this person? As he takes Bill's book and Emily's book, and I don't remember if did Sam have a physical book, or was all the stuff that he written down were just notes?
Sam's notes, her notes, because you saw the picture of who she is. Sam's notes were just whatever she placed in what looks to be a tape, just paper tape. These are Sam's notes. Like, Sam's notes are basically taped everywhere, labels.
I think he took like important notes of like things that they got, like gifts, things like that, but also took those gifts as well. Because in his mind now, he's just like, do these people even still exist? And if not, like, need to find where they're buried at and at least give it to them. Because treasure hunting, sure, you go off and you find things, you sell them, things like that, but sometimes it's not about finding the thing and selling it. It's about finding the thing and giving its proper burial. And with all that in mind, he goes into Bob's room.
It is a potioneer shop. Potions are everywhere. Alchemical, bubbling things are everywhere, as if like someone was in the middle of something. You find scrolls all over this room, and then at the center table, because Bob was small, you see that there's like a step going onto this regular table, and his journal is wide open. Like, there's no secrets almost. His journal is wide open, an inkwell in the middle of it. And you see there was a letter there, written, just written for whoever found it. Looking at the letter, you see the date, you see the time, and then you see a picture of all 6 of these adventurers together. You see that Bill has their arm wrapped around Sam and is basically holding up Bob's shoulder, like just holding them up, because Bob looks very, very sick. You see Roscoe and their leopard cheetah cat thing right beside them. I think I said it was a cheetah or a leopard. I forgot.
You said a leopard named
Leopard.
Cassie.
Yeah, leopard. There, you see their leopard resting, and you see all of them together. And then you see on the letter that is written in this journal, because it is a letter, to whoever finds this journal, these are the notes of all of the things that I've ever experimented on. These are the things that make my life so meaningful. And this image that you see here are the people that make it so meaningful. They are my friends, they are my family, and I will continue to cherish them. But I might not be able to remember them. I hope that whoever gets this journal, they have gotten the key from our good friend Icarus. Although it's very possible that Icarus will have forgotten. I am to be placed inside the core. They've set aside a sarcophagus for me.
It's in the freezer.
Do we have a dying man in our freezer?
We have a dead man in our
Do we
freezer.
have a dying man in the freezer?
We have a dead man in the freezer.
I am supposed to go
think
into
Andy needs that
stasis.
books.
Went to stasis. He's in cryogenics,
He's in
guys.
cryo, but in the freezer.
Put him in the freezer. That is not the core.
That is not the core. They just left him in the freezer.
Something might have happened to them before they could get him to the core, okay?
What? I think Andy needs that book. Andy needs to know what the illness was. Andy needs to do something.
I'm kind of glad I didn't do anything to that sarcophagus that was in the freezer.
And I don't know what else to say other than it's already 9:06 p.m. and this is our last session.
You can't do this to
I
us.
just need to know.
There's a body in
I
the
just need to
freezer.
know. Where's Sam and Bill, my parents?
You're not sure. You don't know the book yet, but
All right, I
Lester,
want
Me
to
as
play
a
again.
player, me
is
as a
not
person. I need
looking
to
at
know.
war while
We need
Arya
a season
and
2.
Danny are in a spa when Leslie has just put soup in a cauldron.
We're just in the spa, and there's a dead man in our freezer.
Next
Listen.
door to you.
You
The
know
spa
what?
is right next to the freezer.
We
Oh,
will
I
have
should
a great
probably-
skin while we're finding the dead guy in the freezer. I'm just saying.
Listen,
I
my
just-
brain said, "Ooh, side quest. You gave me
Thatcher's
names.
getting-
You gave me rooms. I'm
Yeah.
going to go explore."
Thatcher's getting all this emotional weight dumped on him. Well, those two are having a spa day of their lives, and I'm downstairs making soup and complaining about a cybernetic camel.
You could have come to the spa, but no. You
I had to make soup.
Can we
Hey.
do a season 2? I want to know what happens.
I need to know if that's my parents.
I will let James let me know if it's okay. If this is something we want to make into a regular thing, I will check with James.
And love this kind of
Nancy.
cliffhanger.
We got a thumbs up from James. We got a thumbs up from James. We have a dead man in the freezer. We need to know what the hell's going on.
we have 40 years of history to go through, figure out where these people are, see what happened to Bob, see if Bob's alive, and maybe, just
But
maybe,
bring him to Icky so we can actually go in the core like he was supposed to.
if
maybe
he's
I
even
can
in the
heal him.
freezer.
Or maybe
The sarcophagus is in the freezer with a note that says, "Please don't touch."
we need to research.
All
Andy's
I know
having a
is-
spa day, and it was like I was doing some research. No, relax. Meanwhile, oh shit.
The biggest tea got spilled at the end.
Listen,
With
this
no
is why I love
time
my
to
high
mop it up.
intelligence characters.
Listen,
They want to know
remember
things.
that one time we were supposed to go to a festival and then we did it?
Oh yeah,
And I totally
we're
forgot that
supposed
we
to be
weren't
going
making it to the
somewhere.
port town today.
You were
we're
supposed to
building
get
our
to
own
there.
story.
Yeah, we're just having fun with it because that's what Ryuutama is about.
Yeah.
You're
We're gonna get
supposed
to the airport?
go.
Never.
You
Eventually.
have
We're
a
gonna put up this-
destination, but it's how you get to that destination that is the adventure.
Journey before
And
destination.
This is the
Strength
journey.
before weakness. Life before death.
I love
I
it.
hear-
Like, honestly,
I hear
I-
the
I love it. Like we're supposed to go to the airport, got caught up on the on a side quest. Oh wait, no, this is the main quest now.
This is the
Yeah.
main quest now.
Yeah, we have someone in our freezer. We have
Leslie
a bunch of books. We
Never
have a
knew he needed
scroll.
to find out who his parents were this badly.
Yeah, finds out might be his parents. Andy still doesn't know how the heck he was made.
Watch. Roscoe's gonna be your inventor. Just watch.
That'll be very funny.
Arya's
Or,
gonna be like
I don't
descended
know where
from
my
the
bones
leopard
are from.
somehow.
Maybe the Roscoe's bones. Who knows? No, that's a bird folk.
while you are basically in the middle of an emotional revelation of
Existential crisis.
what you have discovered, Thatcher. The smell of stew is boiling away happily inside your cauldron. Everything feels good. Looking up, though, at the scene before you, because remember, there was a magical wall with strange
Oh, I want
lights
to check
and
that
shimmering
out. Yeah.
in front of you. Make a quick check. I guess the closest thing we have for that kind of check is a spiritual and intelligence check.
Who's making this check, sorry?
For Leslie.
Okay. Let me see here. So I need spirit and intelligence.
God dang it.
Mhm.
I wish I was there. I got this
Six,
here.
Same,
24.
same.
D6 and D4.
You're having a spa day.
I
And
know. And it's just like
That's
like-
total
like
of 3.
Total of
'Cause I rolled a nat 1 and a 2.
You're too busy paying attention to what you're cooking, so you don't see it. A golden dragon flies in through the clouds, flapping its wings gently, and it looks directly to where Leslie is at. And for all intents and purposes, for the people watching, the dragon smiles. Maybe we'll have stories after all. I will follow them. How interesting. And
James left a
dragon
note for
as
you.
well.
Oh, yeah.
Note. Having said that, just so that everybody at home knows, as we fly off with the dragon's wings, and we will see what will happen in season 2. We've got a week left for Roll for Wishes, and this game was part of that session. Part of Roll for Wishes. Got it? And several other one-shots planned still through December and January. Many of the folks here that you might see, as well as others along the way, that is part of the Roll for Wishes campaign. Many of them you'll see at PAXU, especially Logomancy. You'll see Logomancy at PAXU next week if you're attending. Please go ahead and say hi, because they're cool people and we're cool people, and it's all about that. And lastly, we're going to be reading out to our good friend Ted from Nerd Immersion as we sign off for tonight. If you really enjoyed that, this is the Ryuutama gang. I don't know what your guys' adventuring group name is going to be.
We're gonna figure it out because apparently we're staying, guys.
Yeah. Just leave it at that.
And this is how campaigns are made, folks.
This is how we get the story of the orc cook, the wonderful treasure hunter, the cat addicted to catnip, and the skeleton boy, and our crazy
Addicted to
camel.
Starbucks.
Yay, and our crazy camel.
Stella.
And who knows? Maybe there'll be other people who join us.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Bum, bum, bum.
Time will tell. Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.
Unless James was on us with us, I say bye.
Yeah, we're out now.
We're out.
How is that?
That I need
And you
more.
go.
I need more.
You need more.
I was like,
Need
yeah,
more
this
lore.
is kind of fun. And then all of a sudden, it's like, wait, they're starting to get more lore dumps here. And I'm like looking at the clock. I'm like, we're getting lore dumps, and it's like 8:45. What do you mean we're getting lore dumps right now?
Is there a dead man in our